A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Matt Williams got a brilliant start from the third row of the grid.
He's gone, he's hit him, he's straight off at the chase.
A half-second lead over the simmering car in the background.
He has it. Oh, he's round on the last lap.
There's a massive, massive accident.
Next to the inside, what a move, what a move.
Well, we've left the North American East Coast and shores far behind us after round 2, which gave us a first-time winner on debut and a champion from GT3 staking his claim on this year's title. We now begin our European leg at one of the most iconic tracks in the world. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the WEC event from Monza in Italy for AMS Australia's WEC Series. Nether here from the ARW commentary team, joined as always by Bagsy. How are you tonight, Bagsy?
Good, thanks, Nether, and looking forward to this race here at the Temple of Speed.
Yeah, certainly are looking forward to this race at the Temple of Speed. It's, as they say in Top Gun, it's I feel the need for speed, and this place certainly delivers, and you're the only person from the ARW commentary team that's been to this iconic racetrack, so you're probably quite abreast to talk to us all about it.
Yeah, it's a brilliant track, 5.793 kilometres. Fastest lap was set back in 2004 by Rubens Barrichello for 1 minute 21, but we're not quite near that today. We're a bit off in these GT3 cars. It was the third purpose-built racetrack in the world after Silverstone and Indianapolis, and we're going to do 2 hours around it, have a pretty good time, and hopefully see some excellent racing.
Yeah, hopefully so. We're going to get hopefully somewhere in the realms of about 75 laps, we estimate, for tonight's race, which is it's quite staggering given it's a very long circuit, but it's a very fast circuit as well, and it goes quickly, especially for the LMP cars.
Yeah, they're lapping in 1 minute 37 compared to 1 minute 47 for the GT3 cars, so probably the fastest lap we're going to have this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's have a look at the driver points, because the championship standings have tightened up quite substantially. So as you can see here on top in the LMP, Ozrob leads. He's the only man that's run on the top with 11 points, run both series. Sam Smith, by virtue of his win last time out at Sebring, occupies third. He finished ahead of Greg Nangle, who sits fifth in class at the moment, and Cam Costa there. Dave Keane subbing in Sebring for Matt Williams. Now we go down to GT3. Brenton Foley has got the lead from Matt Webb by just 1 point. Phil Boak and Lewis Wedding rounding out the top 4 there. So the top 2 teams taking the top 4 spots in GT3 overall. And as you work your way down through the list there, you see we're getting into the privateer categories along the lines of Luke Joyner, Scott Murrell, Lewis Cugley. They've all picked up some points along the way, which is good to see. David Keane, he's now out of that GT car, moving up into LMP. There's Ed Williams. Hello from Mr. Ed. And DD, Brian Walsh, Glenn Miles down towards the bottom end of the standings. And then we start getting into the guys that have got no points. Rob Dunt, Jaden Draper missing, Greg Tara, Cale Parkinson, and a couple of others to boot. Quite a long list of entrants there. And as you can see, there's Matt Williams. He's yet to score any points, having switched to the GT car in the last round. Then we get on to the team's points, and the team's points are a different kettle of fish. We've got Far Canal Racing at the top with 20 points, and then a satellite team, Jamie Snow, in second there. Tinshed Racing's got 10 points by virtue of Sam's win, so they've made an appearance. All the privateer cars here in LMP2, Costa Engineering, Ozrob, Roadhog yet to score, and also another driver there yet to score, which is Yorit. PBF Race Engineering heads Loose Sim Sport by 5 points in the GT3 class, both cars having 2 each, so that's a good battle going on there. Only 2 races into an 8-race season. All the privateer cars down the field there as well. Hazard Racing, a pair of Ferraris. Joiner Motorsport, another Ferrari down there as well. Lewis Cugley for LC in the Cadillac, the only Cadillac in the field with 11 points. He's done quite nicely for himself. Brian Walsh down there in 12th in the Ferrari, doing quite nicely. And rounding out the points scorers is Glenn Miles in the Glenn Miles privateer entry. Dunt Driver Coaching, G-Tuz, Draper, and the rest. No points at this point in time. So it's a long lap. we'll pick someone at random to take you on board and just show you how they attack this circuit during the qualifying session, which we're not too far away from. In actual fact, let's go across to AMS right now and see how things are going. Let's pick and choose who we've got. We've got Will Devonish just coming out the pits at the minute, just as we finish up the session. The man at the top of the standings, if we go up there right now, is actually Cam Costa, which is a bit of a surprise. He's done a 1 minute 37.5, so heading the practice from Sam Smith, and a new entry. You've seen him before, Stairs. He's now second in the garage with Sam Smith at Tin Shed Racing, so taking on the FCR cars together at the moment, those two, as the session's just about to finish. Here's Jamie Snow just on his last flying lap at the moment, coming out of Lesmo 2 and now down the chute towards Ascari. So looking down the times at the minute, Bagsy, the top few guys not separated by very much. They're only separated by 4/10. The top three, actually top four, is separated by half a second, or 5 even separated by half a second. Then it starts to get a little bit further out after that, but hopefully a sign of things to come with very tight field.
Yeah, pretty close to the top there. We've seen the times being traded back and forth. Jamie Snow led the practice session, then Stairs, then Sam, then Cameron Costa's come over the top at the end to bring in a pretty good time, to be honest. He'll maybe a bit of a dark horse. Won't expect him to be so close to the top, but he's done pretty well there, and it should be good having 7 cars in MP2 field all that close.
Yeah, certainly will. Sorry about the camera there. Well, they're lining up to take on qualifying, and the 2 TSR, Tin Shed Racing cars, are leading the pack there. So you've got Sam Smith, last winner in Sebring, followed by his new teammate, Stairs, or Alistair Schmidt, for those of you who follow him on Facebook or through some of the other channels that he's been a member of in the recent past. We're about to get underway for 15 minutes of qualifying. A couple of storylines we're following in today's race as they all begin to exit the pit lane. As we said just a few seconds ago, Sam Smith was the last time winner in Sebring. He was actually a first time winner, and there he is on screen right there. So winning on debut at Sebring, and getting the better of Greg Nangle in the end, but did have to manage it fuel strategy wise. So he's now got I wouldn't say he's a real tail gunner because he's just as quick, Stairs, but they're going to tackle the FCR dominance from round 1 together and hopefully put some good points scored on the board for the team's championship. We were hoping that Johnny Kirkham was going to be able to return tonight, but he's still having a couple of issues getting into the game, but he's getting there, and hopefully he'll be back in the mix soon. A couple of other stories we're following. Let's have a look down the field and see if we can find them for you. Well, here's one of them. Brenton Foley in the PBF Race Engineering. You saw in the team's championship, they lead Loose Sim Sport by 5 points. So 2-car operation for Loose Sim Sport, 2-car operation for PBF. They did the damage in the very first race at Daytona. They scored 1st and 3rd, whereas Lewis Wedding did not finish. Matt Webb took 2nd, and the favour was returned at Sebring with a 1-2 for Loose Sim Sport. So those guys going hammer and tongs at it at the moment. Lewis Wedding getting his GT3 defence off to a good start, or he's actually finally got on the board at Sebring with the win in GT3 class. Well, they're all coming round the circuit at the moment and getting ready to start their first flying laps. Let's see if we can pick somebody who's coming around. Well, here's Matt Webb. So let's see if we can take an onboard with Matt Webb. Actually trying to find the right camera for you. Here we go. Well, we'll stay with the bonnet cam. So Matt Webb in the Loose Sim Sport GT3 for Bentley. Here he comes to the start-finish line. You spend 80% of your lap here at full throttle, and you're getting to about 260 k's an hour by the end of this straight for the braking zone. 280 if you're in the LMP2 cars, so harder stop here on the circuit. Braking at about 160 metres, down the gears. You don't want to take too much curb because you've got those sausage curbs there. Maximise the exit out of turn 2, out of the Variante del Rettifilio, now towards Curva Grande. Flat out, hug the inside of the turn, don't take any curb. If you want, you can use a little bit of the exit strip Matt doesn't elect to do so here, but now another hard stop just before the bridge, on the bridge, breaking point, the Rettifilio della Roggia. Second chicane, he's made a bit of a right hash of that there and has hit the wall. So not a good start to our onboard laps, unfortunately. We were a bit worried about this, that we would pick somebody inevitably that would muck it up, and inevitably he has, Bagsy.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate there. Also, you may have noticed in the background of the shot as he's coming down Curva Grande, a bit of an incident between a Pro A and LMP2 car. Looks like there was a bit of lag that caused someone to jump back into someone else. So that's a bit unfortunate. One of those things that can't be avoided in the game sometimes, though.
No,
As Sam Smith and Stairs and Jamie Snow come across the line to set the first times of the session, with Sam Smith currently on provisional pole with a 137.9.
Good lap so far. Well, we were talking about Johnny Kirkham before. Well, here he is. He's actually managed to find a car, which is good. He's not in his own car. He's actually in the Andy Simpson car. But nonetheless, good to see that he's got his rig sorted and back out. This guy has got some speed, and he will be a threat if he can hook it up. So he's out and about for qualifying, and that is great to see. We've got a good turnout here for both classes, as we did at Sebring. So now let's see.
Got a quick note that Jamie Snow and Sam Smith both elected to continue on and do another lap. Stairs went back to the pit lane for fresh tyres and an adjusted fuel load to go out on a fresh lap. So we'll see how that goes in terms of their second set of times.
Well, I just noticed as well, and as all that was Johnny Kirkham going round in the background there, but I'd also just noticed as we went to cut to Jamie Snow that around in the background at the Della Roggia chicane again, Matt Webb. So 2 consecutive laps for Matt Webb. He has not negotiated that chicane rather well.
Yeah, second place in the championship as well. So he'll be wanting a good qualifying to help maintain or to get ahead of Brenton Foley and get a lead going on him.
Yeah, he certainly won't want to do 2 more muck-ups.
Sam Smith, purple in both sectors, so he's going to take that 137.9 and lower the bar even more.
He's coming to the line now, so here he comes in LMP2 class, and he gets it down to a 37.3, shaves a half a second off, so he's right on the money at the moment. Well, what we're going to try and do, see if we can pick up Cam Costa, because he was out on circuit. Here he comes, and we'll follow him just on the screen this time. We won't go on board. We'll just go back to talking about this lap. So he's coming down to the Variante del Rettifilio, or the Rettifilio chicane. Hardest stop. Not very much curb, just a little clip of the curb. Just got a little bit out of shape there. He didn't hit the sausage curbs, more importantly. Now through Curva Grande, as I said before, completely flat out in all forms of motorsport through here. Doesn't use any curb. Doesn't use all the exit either, stays tight. Hard stop here for the Variante della Roggia. The second chicane went a little bit too deep there. Didn't hit the sausage curbs again because I'll upset the balance of the car. Now into Lesmo 1. Blind entry. Cambered slightly inwards, so you can take this with a bit of pace. Use all the curb on the exit. He used just a little bit. Second Lesmo. Take a bit of curb on the inside. Use the exit. Nicely done. Now you can have a little bit of a breath and run down under the bank, the old banking, towards Ascari. Turns 8, 9 and 10. Left over, right over, left. And this is tricky. Take a bit of curb on the entrance here on the left. Stay and hug the right as hard as you can. Now maximise your exit for turn 10 and you maximise your speed down the straight towards the final turn, which is Parabolica. It's a blind entry to this turn as well. The wall on the right hand side means you can't see round the corner, so you take it as fast as you dare. Spot your exit as soon as you get round, wait on the throttle and plant it now toward the line. That's a reasonable lap from Cam Costa. He'll be a bit upset with a couple of the chicane entries and exits. He's going to come to the line and set a 38.9, so he's 1.6 seconds off. The fastest man in practice has got some more time to find. He's got 8 minutes to do it.
Yeah, he's just ahead of Roadhog there by 0.3 of a second, so probably not what he was after. Roadhog actually pulling out a fair bit of time in this qualifying session because he was about 3 seconds off the pace in practice, so potentially he was maybe sandbagging just slightly. We've also seen Greg Nangle on a purple first sector at the moment, and Lewis Wedding was top. Lewis Wedding is top for GT3s.
Yep, well, we're cut to an angle now just to see him coming down to the end of the second sector, and Glenn Miles gets out the way. Good job. because Nangle is on it, and he's still purple. He is 1.5 seconds up on his PB, and he's 3/10 up on the pole sitter's provisional time at the minute of 1:37.3. He could very well dip into the 36s here, Nangle. Just Parabolica to go. Rounds it. A little bit wider than usual, but that's not a bad line. Doesn't use all the exit, doesn't use the curb. But does he have the straight line pace? This is going to be a stellar lap if he can put it together. And it is. It's a 36.8. He found another 2/10. He's got a half a second on the field at the minute. Great lap from Greg Nangle.
Yeah, Nangle's put a marker down there. I was speaking to the Tin Shed Racing guys, Sam Smith and Stairs, earlier before the broadcast, and they were quietly confident, but were unsure about what some of the other people might bring out. And Nangle has well and truly brought out the big guns there. He's in that beautiful championship car, and he's showing why he was the champion in the previous series with laps like that.
Yeah, he's champion in the F3 series. He now goes through Sector 1. He's 2 and a bit tenths down, but out to avenge that loss in Sebring. He got overtaken down at the hairpin by Sam Smith, and Sam drove away from him after that, but Greg was on the march after the stop, and Sam had to fuel save, and if it had a couple of laps more, Nangle would have been right there and challenged for the win. So out to get some points back for that little unfortunate series of events.
Yeah, also he had a full service pit stop as well that he didn't mean to do, so his car had extra weight as well, which meant he just couldn't quite chase down Sam Smith. So yeah, he will have recognised those mistakes he made, and he will have practiced most likely pitting and his strategy and come back stronger, and he'll be a force today.
He certainly will. Sam Smith now to the line. It's not going to be a truly representative lap, so he goes again. Jamie Snow's popped up into third place as well now, so he's sitting nicely there on 1:38.1, so some considerable distance off the top time at the moment. Let's go down and have a look at what's happening in GT3. So the leader in GT3 is Lewis Wedding. There he is, 1:46.4 in the garage with 5 minutes to go. Dwayne Davies is up the order as well. Even though he's a second behind Wedding, he's provisionally second for GT3. It's a good result from DD at the moment. And Matt Webb in third provisionally in GT class.
Lewis Cugley doing pretty well as well in that Cadillac that I will not mention its looks at all.
Yeah.
He's fourth in class at the moment, 12th on the road, doing quite well, just ahead of Matt Williams.
Yeah, he's doing very well actually, Lewis Cugley. Obviously some straight line speed there. Just a tenth and a bit off of Matt Webb's time. Matt Webb actually took a fair bit of grass on the exit of Parabolica as well, so that wouldn't be ideal. And now it's starting to get a little bit congested down here at turns 1 and 2 as everyone fights for track position. We've got a mixture of GT cars, LMP cars coming out the pit lane as well, as they're all trying to come out and find some room on track to do their next hot laps.
Sam Smith has just gone through the second sector purple and also a purple first sector, so jump on board with him and see how he's going, because this could be a new provisional pole sitter.
Well, here he is round Parabolica. He had a little bit of a moment where the car just tried to get away from him, but he's managed to gather it up. Now tries to straighten it out as much as he can. Is that cost him at all? No! He finds 67 hundredths of a second.
He finds that, but right behind him, Greg Nangle.
And Nangle has supplanted
so
him. Nangle one-ups him and says, I can see you going quicker, and I'm going quicker as well. Nearly 3/10. What on earth has Sam got to do to get this pole? So Sam's had it, lost it to Greg, got it back, and then lost it again split seconds later. So this is on.
Yeah, it's absolutely on. And Stairs is coming out the pits again as well with 3 minutes 20 left in the session. See who can get that pole position. Stairs, though, is now a second off of Sam Smith and 1.3 of his fourth now as well, because Jamie Snow's just put it up into third. But Stairs going from being only half a second off in practice to now 1.3 seconds off Greg Nangle, who's just he's not letting anyone get near him at the moment. He's put his mark on that pole position and said everyone else can stay away.
Well, he's ringing it, even though you can see it there. It wriggled violently on the exit of Lesmo 2. He was 42 hundredths behind his own marker at Sector 1, and he's pressing on. He knows that this pole is not safe. He knows he has to put another benchmark down, and that probably this is going to be his last, if not second last attempt at it. Oh, he wriggles it through Ascari as well. What's the time through Sector 2? Waiting to see it.
4.5 tenths down.
He's 4.5 tenths down, so we missed that slightly, unfortunately. So it won't be this lap. Has he got enough fuel in a tank for another run? No, he's slowing down. He's backing out of this one, so he'll be coming in.
He will have time to go in, get some more fuel, and go back out again, though.
No, he certainly will. Well, Sam Smith's done the same as well. This is going to be probably his last flying lap. He's up at the Lesmos at the moment. Jamie Snow's actually tailing Alistair Schmidt down the back straight towards Parabolica. Snow's on a fast lap. Now this is interesting too, because Snow, if he's close enough, might just get a little bit of a toe here.
He's not getting that anymore.
Nope.
He's gone very wide in Parabolica.
Went very wide. He'll still probably improve his time a little bit if he can keep it together, but no, he's lost too much time. So he's done a minute 38 at 0.1 there. Now Stairs is on his quickest lap, or his final attempt. Be lucky he might get another lap. Oh, and he butchered it as well. He went way too deep at the first turn. And you see the smoke coming there, and he just couldn't get it turned in again. So that's his qualifying done and dusted. Probably safe in fourth at the moment. Snow rounds Curva Grande.
Nangle's back in the garage, so he is confident with that time. Sam Smith has one more shot.
Meanwhile, in GT class, have a look at the order, Bagsy. Wedding's still on top, but Cugley's now moved into second place. Great job, Lewis Cugley in the Cadillac. Foley's moved up to third. Matt Webb sliding down the order. He's now down to, it's 14th on the road, and that's about 5th or 6th in class at the moment. So that qualifying has not gone to plan for Matt Webb at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite close though, because there's only half a second to get up to 11th place. So there's just all those little bits you need to find in GT3 class, but it's very hard when you're having to get out of the way of LMP2 cars.
Well, Snow's got traffic, and unfortunately he's had to abort his lap because the guys ahead of him that were on hot laps. And same too with Sam Smith. He's got an LMP car ahead of him of Johnny Kirkham, and he just managed to round up there. Well, he's not that far away in terms of sector splits, but that probably has cost him, unfortunately, some time.
That's his lap done now. He got held up too much.
Yeah, and he's across the gravel there now too, so that puts pay dirt to any of that. Well, let's go down and have a look. Lewis Wedding still holds top spot in GT. Lewis Cugley coming out of the pits, but he's not going to be able to set another lap. Foley's done. DD's done. Matt Webb is on his last lap, so this is his last opportunity to improve. He's got an LMP2 car behind him of Johnny Kirkham. Now, if Webb's smart here, he'll try and tuck into the toe. There he goes. Trying to tuck into the toe of that LMP car and get as much speed as he can. And actually doing quite a good job of it, to be honest with you. Johnny Kirkham using a fair bit of road there and some more, and Webb's off the road, so this has gone from not being the qualifying session that Matt Webb wanted to see, and he's going to come to the line, see the checkered flag, and unfortunately for him, he's 14th on the road, and overall in class he is 6th. Greg Tara here in 15th. He's up at the Lesmos. This is his last flying lap as well, so last minute flurry of people on the circuit to improve, and he's the only one, I think. We've got Tara at the moment, and behind him we've got Cugley. Yeah, behind him we've got Cugley, but Cugley's not able to set another lap because the time has gone zeros, and he's just out there for a tour at the moment.
We saw Matt Webb. He stayed right behind that LMP2 car, but he misjudged his braking point and just went wide in Parabolica, which is sort of the cardinal sin of fast lapping around here. He
certainly did. Well, Tara's not that far off his PB.
He's only 500ths off of the next position and a 10th off of 2 more positions. So he really only needs to gain a 10th here to gain 2 positions.
Well, he certainly could. If he gets a good exit, and that's not a bad exit. And he was oh so close to his own PB. What time's he going to set? Here he comes across the line, and he stays 15th. He found some time.
No, he jumped to 13th.
Oh, there we go. So they just updated very, very late. You are right, Bagsy. It did update, but it just took a few seconds on our screen to come up. So he jumps up. That pushes Matt Webb down to 7th overall in class. That's a bit of that's turned into a real disaster for Matt Webb.
It's so close in the midfield here. I just had a look. Tara only needed an extra half a tenth to gain another 2 positions. So very close in the midfield here.
From Cugley back, look at this. You've got Cugley, Foley, Davies, Tara and Williams all separated by a half second. So you're right, it is a very, very tight field.
It's 1.5 seconds from Lewis Wedding, first in class for GT3, all the way down to Will Devonish, who is 10th. So pretty good.
Very, very good, if you don't mind me saying. Well, we're going to take this opportunity while we're in the warm-up just to step away from AMS for the minute. We are going to, as the broadcast team, just exit out rather quickly and come back in, and the reason for that is, as you've seen in some of the previous broadcasts, we have had a few frame rate issues. It's the same fate that's been suffered by a number of people in the race itself, and we're just doing everything that we can to get ourselves in order so we can bring you an uninterrupted broadcast. But Bagsy, what a qualifying session between the top two combatants in LMP2, Nangle and Smith. They traded shots for a while, and eventually it was settled in favour of the Professor.
Yeah, you feel like he had the upper hand the whole time and was almost toying with Sam Smith a bit, because Sam, he's just like, he'd give him that little bit and then he'd just take it away straight away. So I don't know, I think Nangle might run away with this race just based on that. He's like a cat playing with its food.
I like your analogy there, just like a cat playing with its food, even if that food happens to go squeak squeak.
Yeah, or even if it doesn't. I've seen cats just knock about their food bowls because they want the rush, I guess, of the hunt. But yeah, you definitely get the feeling Nangle is someone who's on the hunt for victory after giving it away last round.
Yeah, certainly, and he's definitely got the bit between the teeth. He had that race won last week, and he let the pressure from Sam get to him, and Sam worried him out of it, made him go too deep at the hairpin, and got in front. Then it was Nangle getting back ahead as well, and then Nangle unfortunately copped that little bit of traffic that spun across in front of him, and Sam went high and wide and managed to get around it, and then he opened up a little bit of a lead, and then outfoxed him in the pit stops, or what it seemed like he was outfoxed in the pit stops, but unfortunately for Nangle, he did take that full service, as you said, and ended up a little bit further behind than what he should have been.
Yeah, it's sort of like if people are familiar with the show Seconds to Disaster, where they say that disasters don't happen in a vacuum; they're a series of events. And for Nangle, it was a terrible series of events that robbed him of the race victory there. Yeah. And any one of them going the other way, he probably would have won the race.
No, absolutely right. It's just a wrong place, wrong time, and as you said, a chain of critical events that lead to it, and that's exactly what happened. But nonetheless, it's going to definitely be an interesting race to see how it all pans out. What I'm surprised that we didn't see, Bagsy, we see this a lot in the Formula One events, which coincidentally, the next round of the Formula One World Championship is here at Monza, and the current round that they're at right now is where we go next for WEC after this round, and that's to Spa. We didn't see a lot of the slipstreaming and the tow that the Formula One cars attempt to do, especially the likes of the Tin Shed Racing guys didn't seem to want to, or they didn't seem to want to, but they didn't opt to give each other a tow at all down the straight. Do you think it's actually worth very much here?
Oh, the tow's probably worth a little bit, but the thing about that is trying to orchestrate it is just not the sort of thing that's easy to do. And if you mess it up, then you've messed up two people's qualifying laps instead of one. You would have seen, if you're following F1 closely, in qualifying one, the McLarens tried to give each other tows, one going through Blanchimont and the other going up the Kemmel straight, and both McLarens didn't make it out of Q1. So, they still successfully did it, but that might be down to cars a bit more than the actual tow. But yeah, first you have to get it to work, and then is it good enough to help you? And really, I don't think even if they had done that, they would have got close to Nangle.
No, you're probably right there, I'd imagine. It's probably worth maybe a tenth or two, but you're right, the hard part is orchestrating the actual work as well. We're just reading into here that Johnny Kirkham may or may not be able to make it here. He's got a vehicle collision as we find ourselves getting back into the server here to get ourselves organised for broadcast. So that'll be a little bit disappointing if they can't sort that out for him. So we might be down to 23 runners in the field, and that will give us a total of about 8 or 7 LMP runners. We're just doing the math for them right now. There's a couple of drivers have opted to take the warm-up, but not very many. And this is a common trait.
The drivers' briefing's still going, so they probably should be listening into the drivers' briefing more than gallivanting out on track here in the warm-up. There's plenty of time after the briefing, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we certainly will. Well, back live, pitches here at the moment. We're just perched here at the end of the pit lane, just seeing who's rolling through and who's opted to be out on the track at the moment. So far, it's just Ozrob out on the track, and 16th place Scott Murrell was out for a little bit before as well. But no, apart from that, it's a very quiet track as we tick through the remaining, or the first 5 minutes of the warm-up, and now the second half is about to happen too. Here we go, we've got a couple of drivers coming out. So there's the Lamborghini of David Keane down the pit lane at the minute. Now I don't know why I can hear him, but I don't know why he's practicing a standing start, because this is a rolling start here in the Endurance Series.
Perhaps he's practicing his pit lane exit from the pit stop.
He could very well. He came out of his pit box, and then got to the end of the pits, and away he went. A few more cars opting to take to the circuit. Now you can hear them there. There you see on the far right, there's Ozrob just going through. No, not much activity at the moment on the circuit. Well, it's important to, I guess, to let everybody know this is the first of the European legs of the AMS Australia World Endurance Championship Series. So Monza, and then the next another two iconic tracks. So 2 weeks time we'll head to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, and then 2 weeks after that we'll be at Silverstone for the GP layout. So when you talk about iconic tracks, Bagsy, especially in Europe, you can't get 3 more iconic tracks than that, can you?
Yeah, especially Spa. I mean, Spa's probably, at least personally, my favourite track. It just seems to have everything that is good and fun about a racetrack. It's undulating, it's got the long straights, the fast corners, slow corners. It's the full package.
It is, and well, it's an interesting point you raise about undulation and elevation, because Monza doesn't have a great deal of it, and neither does Silverstone. So here, the only undulation you get a little bit of uphill through the front straight, through the main part of Sector 1, and then you get a little bit of downhill from Lesmo 2 all the way down to Ascari, but it's not very much.
Yeah, it's really not that much. And obviously these tracks, the tracks that you mentioned being flat, Silverstone, Monza, these were tracks that were built almost 100 years ago in the case of Silverstone and Monza, and they were just built because they wanted a racetrack. They didn't do it in terms of, good racing or bad racing. It was just, we need somewhere to race. You'll see with newer circuits, like for example today the V8 supercars were at the Bend. That area around Tailem Bend is flat, but they've done a decent job of dug out some spots and put that earth elsewhere to make a nice undulating course, despite it being a very flat area, and it makes for a much nicer drive.
No, you're certainly right, and we see that in a lot of circuits as well. When you think about undulation and elevation of a lot of the newer circuits that have been built in the recent past, we talk the likes of Turkey, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, all those, to a degree as well. You've got the Chinese Grand Prix has a little bit of elevation, especially through the first part of the lap. But you're right, putting elevation and undulation into newer tracks, they have to do a lot more of a better job, because most of the time they're building on flat land and all the elevation is man-made effectively.
Yeah, and it's, you think about Silverstone, the reason it's flat, they didn't want undulation there because it used to be an airfield, which obviously mountains are not the sort of thing you want in an airfield.
No, certainly not. And obviously the airstrip running straight down the middle of Silverstone for many, many years, and was still physically there. But back in the days of World War II, it was an airfield.
Any of those who are interested in MotoGP and wondering what's happened, it's raining so much that they're not racing at the moment, so it's sort of typical of England to have had their driest summer on record, and now the MotoGP isn't racing because of the pouring rain.
Yeah, MotoGP is definitely at Silverstone this weekend, and I've scheduled to start in about an hour, but we won't be saying much about that because if you just want to watch it.
It was actually meant to, they was going to start early because of the weather, but now they have still been unable to start it because of the weather. So it's not ideal for MotoGP fans. But For those who aren't able to watch the MotoGP now, instead, perhaps watch the 2 hours of Monza.
Yep, certainly. You get your motorsport fix right here, 2 hours of Monza, and then you've got an hour and 3/4 of Spa coming up directly after this finishes. Obviously not through our broadcast, but all on your pay TV stations. Well, inside the last 30 seconds here of warm-up, a couple of drivers opting to practice pit-ins. That will be an interesting topic that will follow in the race, is how many stops people are going to make. As we said, we're probably going to get somewhere in the realms of about 75 laps, and that's if we get minimal safety car intervention. So it's a short pit lane. It's a very, very fast approach, so you're on the anchors rather early, but you've definitely got to pay attention coming in for the pits, Spagsy.
Yeah, especially since this is such a high speed pit entry. If you go too fast over that line, you're going over it by a lot if you've hit the brakes too late. So it's quite easy to get the speeding penalty on the way in compared to on the way out. A lot of tracks you'll see when the pit lane curves in along with the final corner of the track, you don't really have to worry about speeding so much because you're not having that speed. But here, you're pretty much fully on the throttle until you reach the point that you want to stop. So yeah, we might see several speeding penalties today. Hopefully less track cuts, because this is a harder track to cut in.
It certainly is, but that being said, there are a number of spots on the circuit where you can be penalised for a track cut, primarily at Ascari. And if you get a little bit too greedy with either of the two Lesmos, you will get stung there as well. Well, it's time for everyone to grid up. And we can hear the engines firing as they start to make their way onto the grid. There's your pole sitter in the garage at the moment. Just waiting for him to make it out onto track as the cars start to organise themselves behind the Camaro pace car. Good turnout at this stage. We've got about 24 drivers. It's an excellent turnout, similar to what we had at Sebring not all that long ago. Seems like a long time ago now. Well, we are away on the formation lap. This Camaro safety car, or the pace car, leads them away. LMP class, or LMP2 class, Greg Nangle, what a superb lap. Ding-dong battle with Sam Smith for pole, and he sits atop the tree. Sam Smith sits alongside in second place. First time winner on debut at Sebring last round. Can he go back-to-back? Row 2. Race 1, or round 1's winner, Jamie Snow, in the Snowballs number 14 entry. Sits alongside debutant to the LMP2 class, but no stranger to sim racing, Alistair Schmidt or Stairs. Oz Rob occupies the third row of the grid with Cam Costa in the Costa Engineering car. Roadhog next door in 7th place, and he will start alongside Johnny Kirkham out of P8. So your top 8 cars are LMP2 entries. Bagsy, let's have a look at GT.
Yeah, GT led by Lewis Wedding. He's definitely the class of the field in that Bentley, and probably who we'll expect to win the race. Lewis Cugley, with a barnstorming qualifying performance, is put up in second ahead of the likes of Brenton Foley and Dwayne Davies, who occupy the second row of the GT field behind him. Greg Tara in 13th in that BMW there for GTUS Racing. Matt Williams, good old Scruff in the FCR stable. He is currently 14th. Matt Webb, not the best qualifying, not very good for trying to gain the championship lead off of Brenton Foley, 15th for him. Matt Schwass occupying the all-matte row there in 16th. Philip Boak in 17th, teammate to current GT3 leader Brenton Foley, and part of the current team PBF Race Engineering that's leading the constructors for GT3. Will Devenish for FCR as well in that orange Lamborghini. Brock Harvey in the very tiny Lotus, doing quite well considering this is a power track and that car is down on power compared to the others, in 19th. Scott Murrell is 20th in the clear or the plain white Porsche. Brendan Ross in a Corvette in 21st. Brian Walsh is 22nd. Glenn Miles 23rd. And the final row of the grid, we've got Mike Coulston in the Matt Harvey Repair and Tune car, and Big Dog is bringing up the rear of the field in the Lamborghini.
Yep, late entry Big Dog. Well, The animals are now 2 by 2, and not to go into Noah's Ark, they're about to go into 2 hours of flat-out racing. As the safety car gets ready to come in. There it is, lights are off. Nangle now has control of the field, so the green flag is at the ready. And they need to get themselves in a little bit more order than this. It's race leader's prerogative to go when he's ready. He'll bring the field to the line, and he'll go as soon as he gets to the line. Green flag is in the air and being shown now, and we are away for 2 hours of Monza, and the pole sitter did not get a good start at all. In actual fact, Jamie Snow's up the inside here, and they're going 3 wide behind him. Look at this. It's a massive, massive battle already for the top positions in LMP2. Nangle somehow prevails, but he got a very, very poor start. Sam Smith hangs on to second. Jamie Snow retains third. Alistair Smith, I keep saying Alistair Smith, it's actually Stairs, is fourth. Cam Costa's moving around the outside here of Ozrob for 5th and 6th place. Kirkham is up to 7th. Roadhog drops back to 8th, and probably wisely so, thinking that it's going to be quite a battle at the moment ahead of him. But down into the second chicane, Costa on the inside of Rob. Rob gives him the space on the other side as well, comes out the other side in front. Johnny Kirkham looking for a spot to try and get through, but unfortunately there is nothing there. Through the Lesmos, and now it should settle down a little bit, and it finally does. And now they're down, heading towards Ascari for the first time. Meanwhile, back in GT, Bagsy, it's Brenton Foley has gotten ahead of Lewis Wedding here.
Yeah, Brenton Foley, Lewis Wedding, and Lewis Cugley were 3 wide going into the first chicane. Lewis Wedding was on the inside, which becomes the outside, but Lewis Wedding is now on the outside again of Brenton Foley. Is he going to be able to go around the outside in Ascari? He is. Brenton Foley breaks earlier and lets Wedding pass. Gives Wedding a bit of a love tap on the way through, but Wedding has quickly rectified what he would have seen as an extreme transgression on his first place in GT3.
Well, there we go. And Foley just tucks into the draft there behind Lewis Wedding, and they're all strung out behind him as well. Greg Turra's had a massive start as well. He's up to 11th place. He's moved up from 13th to 11th. Great job so far.
Brock Harvey's had a big issue, He's 27 seconds off the next car. He's currently last and 27 seconds off Mike Colston. So
yeah.
I'll go back and have a look, see what's happened to him.
Yeah, he's somewhere between Lesmo 2 and Ascari at the minute. He's miles off the pace and going to be lapped rather quickly if he doesn't get himself going. So something has happened to Brock Harvey. Meanwhile, Matt Williams is making a move here on the inside of Lewis Cugley towards turn number 1 and 2. Is he far enough alongside? He is. They give each other some room, and Lewis Cugley prevails. Boak actually cuts the chicane. There's a little bit of someone's bodywork going flying back there in the back. It might have been from Dwayne Davies' McLaren, but Lewis Cugley prevails ahead of Matt Williams at the minute. But you can see here that McLaren's closing as they round Curva Grande. He's going to have another look here into the Della Rogers chicane, but no, thinks better of it, tucks back in, and waits just a little bit longer. Meanwhile, a little bit of a scrap going on back here. Boak fending off from Will Devonish in the Lamborghini, and Matt Webb is tucked in behind here. He's dropped a further position down to 16th, Matt Webb.
Yeah, it's not been the best start for Matt Webb. He would have been hoping, as Boak goes very wide.
Very wide. That's going to give
Devonish a run.
Yep,
Devonish is already ahead. Webb also went wide, so he's now under pressure from Dwayne Davies as they race down towards Ascari. They dive under the old banking, and Matt Webb has the inside and presumably the prerogative for Ascari chicane, and Dwayne Davies has let him go. So
yeah.
bit of some smart driving there from Dwayne Davies. He knows that he can get this position.
Yep, all very well behaved at the minute, Lou, and Matt Webb goes very wide again off of the exit of Ascari, and that's let Dwayne Davies through. Matt Schwass trying to go with Dwayne Davies as well and try and get a little bit of a tow, but you won't be able to go. Oh, tries to cut to the inside here, and having a look at the inside of Dwayne Davies as well as Matt Schwass. Geez, that was a bold move. In actual fact, it sent Dwayne Davies a little bit wide.
I don't think there was actually any touching there really that much. I think that was just Dwayne going a bit wide because Schwass came steaming up the inside. So Schwass has effectively frightened him out of the position there. As Matt Webb has a go to get back at Dwayne Davies, he's got the inside line coming down to the first chicane.
Yeah, he certainly does, but he's not close enough to make the move, and just tucks in there. Oh, there's Lewis Cugley's in the middle of the track as well. What on earth has happened to Lewis Cugley? Something very, very strange there. Well, let's go back and see if we can find out what happened to Lewis Cugley. Here he is. Matt Schwass on the inside. So Matt Schwass tried the move before. Schwass actually sorry, not Matt Schwass, Matt Williams. Scruff actually backed out of it. Lewis Cugley did it all on his own and just parked it there, and all the field having to cut the chicane rather badly for Lewis Cugley to get going. Lewis is going again, which is good.
Just an update on Brock Harvey and why he's so far behind. He actually came into the pits when the safety car came in. So at the rolling start, he came into the pits and changed tyres and put fuel in. So I'm not sure if he's potentially started on an old set of tyres accidentally and had to replace them, but that's a long way back for him because of that.
Certainly is. Meanwhile, unsighted to the cameras, Sam Smith had actually gotten past Greg Nangle somewhere on track. Oh, there's been a minute back, and Nangle and Snow have come together. Jesus, that's a bit of an awkward moment there at the Rettifilio chicane. Well, let's see if we can get a bit of a look at what happened there. Snow had the run. He was in the draft. Came to the inside. Nangle was actually trying to cover the inside, so Snow demanded a bit of space there.
I think that one might be on Nangle because he's just cut in to Jamie Snow there.
It's a bit. I think it might be a little bit either way there, Bagsy. But that's.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you there, but Lewis Wedding has left the game. Issues for Lewis Wedding.
Oh dear me. So Lewis Wedding out of this race very, very early. Oh, and there's also been a nasty accident. Jamie Snow and Johnny Kirkham have come together as well. It looks like it's down at Lesmo number 2. Well, let's see if we can get a handle on what has happened here. So here they come. Kirkham right behind Jamie Snow, and yeah, gave him a serve. Gave him a serve at Lesmo number 2, and both those cars off the road. And Jamie Snow, I think, is just about had enough. He's straight into the wall at the end of Ascari as well. So not a good part of the lap for Jamie Snow. That is most certainly going to be looked at after this race. Meanwhile, Sam Smith continues to lead in LMP2 class. Brenton Foley now leads GT3 from Greg Turrer and Matt Williams. So that order has certainly been shaped rather early in this race. Some trouble for Lewis Wedding. We're not 100% sure what. We certainly hope it's not a recurrence of his Twitch issues or some other sort of nasty issues with his internet. Jamie Snow comes into the pit lane. But Foley now leads GT3 and looks set at this stage of the game to extend his lead in that class. In actual fact, behind him as well, it looks like Boak might have moved up the order as well. Nangle's DNF'd as well, so something for Greg Nangle as well. So not only issues for some of the front runners in GT, but also issues for the front runners in LMP2 class as well, Bagsy. Something has gone wrong for the Professor, and something's really, really strange is going on here.
I've just had a look. He's just gone straight on at the first Lesmo, essentially. So, we're hearing it's pedal failure from Greg Nangle. So that is unfortunate there. I guess potentially his brakes have just failed on him there, and he's gone straight into the wall. So Nangle is out of this race already. We were hoping for a good performance from him. He got past. The reason he was behind Sam Smith just got in the slipstream and got past him on the main straight. Then a quick tangle with Jamie Snow, and now this. That's very unfortunate for Greg Nangle.
Certainly is, and apologies to the viewers, but I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit from all this talking that's going on at the moment, but we'll do the best that we can to push on. So, lap 6 underway. Sam Smith has a comfortable lead at the minute, 4.8 seconds over Ozrob. He's already starting to approach some of the back markers. There's a bit of lap traffic between himself and Ozrob at the minute in the form of Johnny Kirkham in the Andy Simpson entry for this race. Some issues with his own car. Stairs has moved up to 3rd. Cam Costa into 4th.
Just hearing in that Johnny has taken responsibility for the incident with Jamie Snow. It seems like he just outbraked himself into the second Lesmo there, causing that. So both of them have pit, which means that they are actually now carving their way through the GT3 cars for position, not lapping them.
No, they certainly are. So Sam Smith exits the final part of the Ascari chicane, gets past Brock Harvey quite easily on the run down to Parabolica, but this race has certainly been shaped rather early, Bagsy. Look, Cam Costa in the background actually all over the rear wing here of Stairs, who's getting past Ozrob as well. This is a battle for second, third and fourth is going on, and Alistair, or Stairs, prevails in a wonderful move down at Parabolica. Cam Costa's buying in on this on Ozrob as well, and away we go to complete
Ozrob
lap
has a
6.
slipstream though, but now Costa's tucked in. Ozrob is going to get past these two again because of the slipstream.
This is great scrapping between TSR, Costa Engineering and Ozrob. Ozrob goes deep under brakes. Can he get it pulled up? Yes, he can. Retakes second place. Great scrap going on here for second, third and fourth in class at the moment. And they're glued together, these three, and certainly doing... certainly having making a great fist of things and doing it cleanly as well. But now comes the challenge. I've got GT traffic to pass.
Yeah, as we saw with Dangle last round, GT3 traffic can be the bane of your existence, and Ozrob has actually benefited quite a lot from it.
Oh, he has this time around.
Sam Smith, though, music to his ears with these guys all fighting each other. It's just allowing him to romp away at the front to the tune of 6.5 seconds in lap 7.
Yeah, he's got his hammer down already. Meanwhile, Stairs still can't break the shackles of Cam Costa, who's staying nice and close to that Shed Racing open cockpit LMP2 car ahead of him. Here's a wonderful shot on high of Ascari, and you can see them take the first part with the curb, stay right through the second part, as we said, and then take the third part. Well, Ozrob's had a poor exit off of Ascari. Maybe got balked a little bit by the Ferrari of Miles that was there as well. And now this battle's on again. Stairs to second place. Ozrob had another bit of look, but Stairs is wide. Ozrob's got to go in here. It's a 3-car battle, and Ozrob's given a massive whack to Stairs. A massive, massive whack, and that was all permeated by the fact that Stairs went a little bit wide, and then the guys on the inside got a little bit too greedy. Cam Costa through to second. Ozrob's going to tour the pit lane. Stairs has got himself moving again.
He's also going to the pit lane.
He's going to go in the pit lane as well, so thankfully they weren't very far from the pit lane, but that certainly looked very, very awkward, and we saw it from the curb cam, so we won't go back and take the replay of that, but it certainly didn't look very good. Stairs swept into second place, didn't quite get it stopped in time, and then went a little bit wide, came back, and then Ozrob was just in there just a little bit too hot. Also Cam Costa being in there as well, and collision, and the upside of that for Cam Costa, he's come into second place, but that battle was certainly scrapping away, or going away rather nicely until that moment.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate because they ended up 3 wide because of Stairs going wide. And then Cam Costa, with the slightest of bumps into Ozrob, sent Ozrob flying into Stairs. Can't really... I guess you could chalk it down as Costa's fault, but that's just the sort of thing that happens when you've got all those cars so close to each other, and especially 3 wide.
Yeah, certainly.
The interesting thing from all this is that Brenton Foley in the GT3 car is now 5th overall, with, I believe, 3 LMP2 cars behind him currently.
Well, he's got Ozrob directly behind him, and then he's got, looking further down, Johnny Kirkham's down 17th overall at the moment, and Jamie Snow's 12th overall, so you are right, he's got 3 behind him. Meanwhile, Greg Tara's fending off from Matt Williams here on the run down to the De La Roger chicane, and Tara's going to have the inside again, but Matt Williams looks racy at the moment in that McLaren, having stepped down from the LMP2 class down to the GT class, and certainly making a good fist of things at the moment. Tara's 2nd overall in class, 7th on the road. Foley is 6th now, and is actually, you can see Foley just ahead, kicks up the dust on the exit of the Lesmo 2, and now they head down under the banking towards Ascari for the 8th time. These guys in GT, and GT field just starting to get strung out a bit rather nicely now. So it's all settled down for the moment, but we haven't had any shortage of action inside the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, and 2 big-name DNFs as well. The 2 people we expected to win this race, Nangle for LMP2 and Wedding for GT3. Only 2 retirements so far, but probably the 2 biggest ones you could expect.
Yeah, certainly the championship defence in GT, especially for Lewis Wedding, not off to a good start in the first round. He did not finish that race. Finished first at Sebring just 2 weeks ago, and now another DNF, which means no points. And this is kind of reminiscent of what happened to him in GT when we had the GT only rounds. If he wasn't winning the races, he was not finishing the races, and he's going to have to produce yet another one of those drives in the remaining 5 rounds after this in order to keep his title defence in GT on track, as Jamie Snow rounds up Greg Tara. Snow now back up to 7th overall, but a massive minute and a half now behind Sam Smith.
Yeah, and it's only an 8-round season as well. We've got, after Monza here, we've got the rest of our European leg of Spa and Silverstone, and then our Asian leg, or Australasian leg, of Fuji, Shanghai and Melbourne. And that's it. So, you know, he's not going to have much time to catch up these points.
No, certainly not going to have much time to catch up these points, and also with a field that's already got quite a substantial margin on him, and the PBF guys just continue to finish, you know, top 2, 3, 4 positions at the moment. They bank a lot of points, and it starts to make Lewis's job rather difficult with the remaining rounds to come. Well, just watching Tara at the minute navigate Ascari as he's got a train of cars now starting to form behind him, so he probably feels a bit like a cork in a champagne bottle here, because Matt Williams is applying the pressure, now sweeps to the outside. He'll have the preferred line for Parabolica, but Tara will have the inside. Tara lets him go. Matt Williams manages to pull it up. That's a great job to get around the outside at Parabolica. You don't see that happen very often, but now he potentially is a sitting duck for Tara, because Tara can tuck into the slipstream that McLaren generates, and Boak's trying to go along for the ride here as well. Sam Smith in the background's catching these guys up. Tara gives a little bit of hip and shoulder to Matt Williams, and almost runs him right to the edge of the circuit there on the grass, and Tara now thinks, I'm going to pull out of this, and lets him go. And now, is it Boak there, trying to buy in to Tara's little trip across the turn 2 sausage curb. But meanwhile, Sam Smith's going to close in on these guys pretty quickly in the next few seconds or so, and they're getting the blue flags already. So if Boak needs to get the move done, he needs to get it done now, and he does on the inside of Tara, but that gives Tara the inside for 5, but Boak on the outside gets the job done. Tara just thinks better of it, lets him go, and lets Sam Smith go, and Sam's now going to round up the guys ahead of him as well. So Foley is ahead from Williams and Boak. Boak now goes a little bit wide at Lesmo too. Let Sam Smith go by. Sam will round up the other guys in the GT field down this straight here. He's also going to round up Scott Murrell, who's now a lap down. And Matt Williams tucks in behind the Porsche for Ascari. And now heading down to Parabolica. Jamie Snow... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, Matt Williams, I think, might be under a bit of scrutiny there for basically pushing Tara off onto the grass, because that's not really on in that scenario. The drivers know that the track does cut in there a little bit, and yeah, to sort of just keep pushing him out that way is a bit dodgy. Yeah,
it was a little bit naughty. I do agree with you that he did force him all the way over to the edge of the road and made Tara's job very, very difficult, actually. Meanwhile, down the main straight, GT cars are lapping the lap GT cars. Cam Costa's starting to come up to them as well. So Costa was starting to make a little bit of inroads into Sam Smith's lead, but he's not going to be able to do it here.
Oh, Johnny's trying to pass him for position, gets a big wallop, and he's going to go around into Tara, not quite. Johnny
avoids the carnage, Johnny. There he is back there. So let's go back and have a bit of a look if we can find him. Here he is. Yeah, in the middle of a GT battle, and this is the problem when you're an LMP2 car and you've gone a couple of laps down or you've got GT traffic. If you can't negotiate it safely, then you're in trouble. It was a bit of an awkward moment because Boak got very, very loose off of the turn 2 curb, so certainly no fault there of Johnny's, but Matt Williams and Boak were battling away for position there.
It was also Johnny was there for position as well, because because of his early pit stop. as Cam Costa rounds the outside of these guys.
Yeah, he certainly does. So Johnny was innocent party in that one. Boak and Williams were battling there, and Boak just got a little bit loose off of the turn 2 curb, because that's a problem here. You've got to maximise your traction out of the slow corners, and Boak just dropped a little bit of a wheel on the other side of the curb and got a snap oversteer and into Matt Williams, who went into Johnny, and that was that. Speak of the devil, Matt Williams, here he is, trying to round up Boak now as Sam Smith sets a 37.7, quickest lap of the race so far. Williams is high and wide here. Boak gets underneath him, and Matt Williams will try and tuck into the slipstream here. Tara's trying to buy into this as well. So too is Johnny. Now Johnny should get these guys down the straight. He's got a 20km/h advantage, Johnny, but he's not making any impression or any real impression here. I think he's just trying to worry Boakey out of it. And Scruff tries to say surprise as Johnny rounds them up, but he wasn't quite close enough that time around. But he showed his nose.
It's going to be very close here through Curva Grande, though, and into the second chicane. I reckon he might send a dive here.
Yeah, it's very possible here down into the Della Roggia chicane if he can get it stopped. But well, he doesn't look like he's gained very much here. Tries to go a bit later on the brakes. Or closes up very, very close. Slides it through, gets it stopped really, really well, Matt Williams. But the pressure on Philip Boak at the moment. Through Lesmo 1. This is probably the tightest of the battles that's on track at the moment.
Pressure on Philip Boak is not just for the position of second in class, but also currently a 1-2 for PBF Racing, which they also, well, they got a 1-3 back in Daytona, so a 1-2 would be just that bit better.
Yeah, it certainly would. Meanwhile, the head of the field, Sam Smith still romping away at the front. He's got 12.2 second lead at the moment, Sam Smith. He really is stretching it out. He's just been negotiating some traffic down the main straight on his way to the first chicane.
Brendan Ross has spun up the Della Roggia chicane, caused a bit of grief for Roadhog and Stairs. Oh,
Boak's gone deep. Boak going deep at Parabolica. That allows Matt Williams underneath. Can Boak get into the slipstream and get that position back? Well, he's certainly got back into the slipstream rather nicely. And here we go to the outside. Slipstream, slipstream, as they come down to the first chicane. Couldn't quite make it work, but Tara's going to make it work. On the inside for turn number 1. No, Boak holds out. So
opportunistic from Tara, didn't quite come off, but quite a good spot position. Matt Williams has got a bit of a gap on these two now.
yeah, he's going
I've got a feeling that Matt and Tara are a bit faster than Boak, but Boak's being a bit of a cork in the bottle. So Matt Williams now has 4 seconds to get up to Brenton Foley and the class victory position.
Yep, certainly is. And Boak's wide off of the second part of the Della Roggia chicane as well, and there has to go defensive for Greg Tara. And through Lesmo 1 and now through Lesmo 2 for the 13th time, these guys. The laps have gone quickly already. 23 minutes in, the GT cars have done 12.5 laps. Another lap extra for the LMP2 cars. Let's go back to the head of the field and see how things are going for our race leader, Sam Smith. Look at that, last time around 37.8, his best lap 37.7. Ultra consistent laps from the last round winner. And he's got a 15-second margin at the moment on Cam Costa, and they've got he's got over a minute on the rest of the LMP2 field. So Roadhog's been in, Stairs have been in, Ozrob, Jamie Snow, Johnny Kirk, they've all been in LMP2. They've all been through the pit lane already for various reasons, most of it through accident damage. But meanwhile, out in front, Sam Smith, he's at the moment in cruise control and got this race on a string at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing remarkably well, and really showing why he was the winner of the previous race in Sebring. In Sebring, sorry. He's doing quite well. He's keeping his tyres well. He doesn't have any pressure on him at all. So basically, if he just keeps it on the road and no technical dramas befall him, he'll win this one relatively easily. But we've said that about many people before, and nothing is certain until that checkered flag falls.
That's right, and he's coming up to lap Jamie Snow very, very shortly as well at this pace, but he's also catching the traffic at the most opportune times as well, so primarily down the straights, very little traffic being caught through the chicanes or the slow corners or corners that will impede him or impede his progress. As he comes down to the line here, he's looking rather good that lap as well. Sets a quickest lap, a 37.4, so he lowers his own benchmark by 3/10. Sam Smith, he really is in his element at the moment and got that car running absolutely like a metronome.
Yeah, I think we're coming down to the end of the fuel. Excuse me, sorry. We're coming down to the end of the fuel loads now. I think we're expecting about half an hour or so per stint, so which would equal a 3-stop race. And tyres might be our last 2 stints of that though. So his tyres still in good nick and fuel burning down as he comes up to a gaggle of traffic.
Yeah, so this is probably the first time he's actually caught a whole bunch of traffic at a bad spot, so he's catching them at the Lesmos. So getting out of the way there, one of the Ferraris, as I think that might be Brian Walsh there getting out of the way, and Glenn Miles going across the grass. That's not one way to get out of the traffic. Jamie Snow getting past Brock Harvey, and Snow will actually be having the blue flags for Sam Smith as well. So Snow now will go a lap down. There he goes.
Snow will be quite unhappy about that given the pace he was showing in qualifying practice.
No, that's right. You're absolutely right. He will not be pleased with that at all. So he really needs a safety car to fall at an opportune time for him to get back onto the lead lap. Jamie Snow. But so far, none have presented themselves inside the first half hour. Continues to go. Great curb cam shot on the exit of Parabolica. And Sam Smith continues to extend his lead. 38.4 that time around. So a second lap different to the previous lap, which was his best, all due to the traffic. Cam Costa now still in pursuit, but not making any major inroads at the moment. His last lap time was a 40.3, so he's just burned. His pace has just gone away a little bit as the fuel the fuel load comes down. But at the moment, a solid second. He's got nothing to be frowned upon. He's driven cleanly, and although he was involved in that little party of 3 down at Parabolica about 15 minutes ago, that resulted in Osrobin Stairs having to tour the pit lane. There's no visible damage on that car, but probably will come under some scrutiny at the end of the race. It might go down as a racing incident, but we will let the stewards decide.
Just our class leader for GT3, Brenton Foley, has pit very recently. In fact, about 30 seconds or so ago.
Yeah, he's in the lane now, and actually Boak's in the lane as well. So
that's Brendan Ross who's in the pit lane there. Foley's already come in and out. Yeah,
so Foley's been in and out. Boak actually in at the moment. Lewis Cugley coming in as well. So we're starting to see the GT cars touring the pit lane, and this brings up an interesting strategy call, because we were talking to Brock Harvey before tonight's race, and he did say earlier in the broadcast, Bagsy, that he doesn't have the pace to live with these guys, and here he is coming down to Parabolica at the moment. That little Lotus has not got the straight line horsepower to go with these big horsepower cars such as the Corvette and the Bentley, but he's hoping that he might be able to make this a 2-stop race for himself instead of a 3-stop race, purely because the little Lotus is getting a little bit better fuel burn. As you can see there, he's gone past Philip Boak. He's also gone past Foley, obviously because they've already stopped. It's just a matter of how far can that little Lotus go.
Speaking of Philip Boak has jumped Brenton Foley in the pit stops.
Yeah, he certainly has.
Because Foley was leading by a big chunk of time, and so he is now ahead by a couple of seconds. So there's a big stop for Brenton Foley. And the thing is, Philip Boak has changed tyres as well, so maybe a mistake for Foley somewhere around there.
Well, certainly rather interesting, isn't it? Because that's not something you typically see, because Foley did have a couple of second advantage over his teammate, and now he's behind him, so that'll be some head scratching from the number 074 Corvette as to why that is the case. But nonetheless, Boak currently 12th on the road. And in terms of GT class, he is 5th, Foley is 6th, but the pit stops are still shaking out. And I believe there are some more stops happening at the moment. Yes, there is. Matt Williams is in the lane at the moment. Dwayne Davies goes through. Looks like he'll be in this lap. Dwayne Davies. Matt Webb coming out of Parabolica at the moment. And is he coming in this lap? Yes, he is. So Matt Webb, second in the championship, in for a stop. Hasn't quite got that Bentley humming along the way that he would like, but still a long way to go as we've just ticked past the first half an hour. So time to have a look.
Pretty much spot on for a 3-stop race there.
Pretty much spot on for 3-stopper exactly for Matt Webb. So time we have a bit of a look through the field and see where everybody's at. So Sam Smith now looks like the number 20 Tin Shed Racing car might be in for a stop this lap. So
Matt Williams has come out just behind Brock Harvey. So Brock Harvey, older tyres, more fuel efficient car, trying to go longer. Matt Williams didn't change tyres at the stop. So if you're wondering why Matt Williams is so far ahead of Boak and Foley, it's because he did not change tyres. Foley and Boak coming through the first chicane, Williams exiting Curva Grande. So that's why there is that 14-second gap between them.
Massive difference there. And we've lost a couple more drivers in GT class. We've lost Scott Murrell and Big Dog in the last sort of 20 minutes as well. Matt Webb receives a drive-through penalty, so to compound matters for the second place man in the championship, Matt Webb has been penalised for speeding in the pit lane. So either didn't get it stopped in time or released the limiter too early, but he will have to tour the lane again. He's down 16th at the moment. And Sam Smith in, so race leader in LMP2 is in for his first stop, and this will definitely be a 3-stop race at the moment. Jamie Snow gets through and unlaps himself, and now is the time, if any, that Jamie Snow needs to get a safety car to come out, because he'll be back on the lead lap if the safety car was to come out right now.
Costa in also, no tyre change for Sam Smith. So Sam Smith is going to double stint his tyres.
Yep, and Costa doing likewise as well. That car is not up on the jacks, so mimicking what's going on there. Stairs in third.
I only remember that Stairs hit so much earlier, about the 15-minute mark of this race, or maybe close to the 10-minute mark. So he doesn't have to stop for a little while now, and will probably be hoping for a safety car to try and extend one of his stints.
Yeah, the guys that have had to come through the lane rather early or have been lapped are going to need a safety car at exactly the right time to get themselves back on the lead lap. For Stairs, it's not such a big issue because he's not a lap down just yet, as Costa's on the move out of the lane, and so too Sam Smith. He's actually down running through Curva Grande as well. So Smith retains his lead as himself and Costa did not put any tyres on that car, or on their cars. They only took fuel on board. And let's quickly run through your order. You've got Sam Smith out in front, Cam Costa in second. Stairs is third, navigating Curva Grande at the moment, and just letting the GT cars know that he is there. Ozrob currently fourth. He's about half a kilometre behind Stairs at the moment on track, about 12 seconds. Roadhogs moved up to fifth. Jamie Snow currently occupies sixth. Johnny Kirkham's moved up into seventh, so he's had a battle, Johnny Kirkham, to get himself back onto the tail of the LMP2 field, but he is quite some considerable margin down. In actual fact, probably go another lap down to the race leader very, very shortly. In GT, Matt Williams heads the GT field. He's in 8th, pursued by Brock Harvey. Brock Harvey coming into the pits now, so he'll drop down the order. Foley and Boak, 10th and 11th. They will now promote it up to 9th and 10th as they pass Brock Harvey's car in the pit lane. Greg Turra.
So with Brock, sorry to interrupt you, with Brock pitting there, that's not enough to make a 2-stop strategy work. You'd have to have gone to the 40-minute mark to have made that work, but he's only made it to the 35-minute mark.
Certainly going to need a safety car to make that one happen.
He'll
Turra
definitely need a safety car.
Turra up to 11th. Harvey's still in 12th, but he's about to surrender 12th to Lewis Cugley. There he goes. And behind him, Will Devonish just going across the grass, unusually. So 13th for him. Dwayne Davies, 14th. Matt Schwass will take over 15th as Harvey is still in the lane. And Matt Schwass is about to be rounded up by Roadhog here. Harvey's still in the lane. Matt Webb has toured the lane already to serve his penalty. And Brock Harvey just coming out of the pits now, so he surrenders 16th to Matt Webb. Will maintain 17th. Brian Walsh 18th. Brendan Ross 19th. Glenn Miles is 20th. And last classified man on track at the moment is Mike Coulston in the other Lotus. We've got 4 retirements. Scott Murrell, Big Dog, Greg Nangle, and Lewis Wedding.
Yeah, so just having a look, Matt Williams, he's got in the background of shot, he's got Brenton Foley and Philip Oak, they're actually battling each other a bit here, the teammates, and it's cost him a bit of time, because when they weren't battling, they were gaining almost a second a lap, but now it started duking out a little bit, and Foley's got past Oak in the course of that. They're losing that time to Matt Williams, who got it by not changing tyres, so I think maybe if they implement some team orders here, just help each other out instead of battling, they'll be able to catch and pass Matt Williams. And
we've got a yellow flag on circuit here, and it's Mike Coulston just pulling off the road at Curva Grande just to let the race leader go by, so he got off well off the circuit. He didn't actually have to do that, but nonetheless.
Boak's back past Foley into turn 1.
Yep, so Boak has moved up the order to Foley behind Matt Williams, so Boak and Foley, the switch was made. And we'll go back to have a look at this battle and see how it's shaping up. So here they are. Matt Williams, you can see, is behind Cam Costa on track, but currently at Lesmo 1. And Boak and Foley, that's very, very awkward there. Boak and Foley are just coming through the Della Roggia chicane turn 5. So they've got 10 seconds between themselves and Matt Williams.
They're bringing Tara back into this too by fighting. They really just need to, put their heads down, put it aside for later in the race and work together.
They certainly do. The teammates need to work together. And you're right, they're bringing G-Tuz along for the ride with them. Meanwhile, Matt Williams continues to eke out a 10th here and a 10th there. And that gap is stabilised for the moment. Lewis Cugley and Will Devonish are very, very close. And here they are on the exit of Lesmo 2. Lewis Cugley took to the grass and the gravel. He lets Devonish by in the Lamborghini. Now Lewis needs to tuck in behind the Lambo here, and he does, because Dwayne Davies is coming up behind them as well. Now DD hasn't stopped yet. Now can you look into this for me, please, Bagsy, because I don't think he stopped. Has he stopped? He has stopped. Okay, so it was a very late stopper if that was the case. 2 laps. So he's a lot further up the order than what I kind of expected him to be, because his actual fact he's moved down 2 spots from where he qualified, but he was going along rather well, and last time I saw he hadn't stopped, so he has in fact stopped.
Brock Harvey's the one who I'm impressed with, despite his strategy being a bit down the toilet now that he's, because of that first lap pit stop, he's still up 2 places, so hopefully he can push up a bit more. A bit further up the field in LMP2, we've had Roadhog get passed by Jamie Snow. Jamie was closing in on pretty fast, but I think Roadhog's made a mistake.
Yeah, that's this battle right behind the GT battle involving Cugley, Davies and Devonish up the main straight. We did see Jamie Snow is in front of Roadhog at the moment. He probably got that done somewhere earlier in the lap. These guys are now getting the blue flags for the men in 5th and 6th on the road. Snow rounds up Dwayne Davies off the exit of Curva Grande, but he won't be close enough to round up Cugley nor round up Devonish. Hogg will now be right on the tail of Dwayne Davies, and will probably take his opportunity, I would imagine, either between the Lesmos or, in actual fact, he does take it between the 2 Lesmos, and he should grab the other 2 down the chute between Lesmo 2 and Ascari. He'll have the pace to do so. You're right, Bagsy. Go back to Brock Harvey. Despite the fact that his strategy is now up the clacker, he's pushing on He's up 2 spots from where he qualified, and obviously a little bit of it's by virtue of a couple of retirements ahead of him.
Speaking of, we've had Mike Coulston retire.
And Mike Coulston, his teammate, so Brock Harvey's teammate in the other MHRT Lotus Exige Sport, is now out of this race. So he becomes our 5th retirement of the race. We're now down to 20 runners. An hour 20 to go.
We've just had Johnny pit for new tyres and fuel, so...
Yeah, well, he was off sequence as well because he came in a lot earlier because of his accident and is now off sequence, so that's effectively a second stop for Johnny. Matt Webb, despite his penalty... and
Jamie Snow also back in, he was off sequence as well.
Yep, so Matt Webb, despite his penalty and rather poor opening half hour, finds himself in 16th, in desperate need of a safety car. Boak and Co. and Matt Williams especially a further minute up the road for the Bentley driver. So if he needs to salvage something here, he either needs a very, very brave call on strategy, or he needs the safety car to intervene.
Yep, in GT3 is dropped by about a second, 9.5 seconds now between Matt Williams and Philip Boak. So that's slightly noticeably smaller, but the decision to not take tyres might pay off for Scruff if they don't hit the cliff.
They might, but what also might not pay off here is the extra tyre gamble for Brenton Foley, because Tara was threatening there on the run down to Parabolica. Tara takes a little bit wider line and tries to tuck into the slipstream here again down the straight. This has been the prime passing opportunity so far this race for all the cars. And is Tara going to have a look? Yes, he is. He's pulling in. Can he get it stopped is the most important question. No, he's too deep. He's too deep, but he manages to pull it up. And he, just for good measure, drifts it off the exit. He managed to pull it up, but Foley's going to have another look here on the inside of Curva Grande. Tara gives him some space. If Tara can hang with him around the outside, he'll be in the prime position for the next chicane, but he's going to have to tuck back in here. Jeez, I thought he had the move done for a minute there, Bagsy, despite the fact that he was going at a mile a minute. Oh, and Foley's gone deep. Cuts across the chicane. That'll give him a curb strike and a penalty and a warning for that. He maintains position. I was just saying that before that little trip across the curbs for Foley there, Bagsy, I was just saying I thought Tara had pulled the move off, despite the fact that he went very, very deep, managed to pull it up, but
he's given Foley a bit of a nudge there.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Sort of pushed him onto the grass while Johnny comes past. He's going to have to go into this go chicane here. He was, apart from that, if he hadn't had that bit of showboating out of the first chicane, with that,
move was done.
He would have had the position made easily. Looks like he's not going to go. He's just going to tuck in through Ascari and try and get him down into Parabolica, or even wait for the main straight, because that is where the greatest slipstream is.
Certainly is. Well, this has allowed Boak to escape as well, these two battling over 10th and 11th.
Also, it's dropped the gap by a second and a half, so now that Boak isn't having to deal with Foley being next to him, he's able to absolutely romp towards Matt Williams.
Yeah, he certainly is. We'll see how that goes over the next few laps. Meanwhile, Tara's had a moment and he's lost he will, if he doesn't get around way here, he'll lose the draft, but he's going to try and get the draft off of Roadhog, which is quite smart actually, but Roadhog managed to get past him quickly. Now Foley tries to get the draft off of the LMP2 car, and he'll survive for another lap down here into turn number 1 and 2.
I've had Johnny off the road somewhere. I can't exactly see where he is.
He is, at the moment, he's still showing 7th for me on screen, but you're right, maybe. He's actually retired. He's retired just now, so just went DNF, so something's happened to Johnny Kirkham on his return to sim racing. So disappointing for him. We are now down to 6 LMP2 cars.
Might be a connection issue, because I saw him, he was just going down the straight and then suddenly his car just disappeared to the right and stopped on the outside of the fence. So
right, that usually does signify some sort of connection drama. Jeez, Tara's still giving it all that he can to try and get to Foley. Foley is just starting to edge away a little bit now. He's got a couple of car lengths. His teammates a bit further up the road, dangling that carrot in front of him to say, come on mate, catch me if you can. And at the moment, Foley is trying to do just that. It's giving him an incentive just to try and stay away from Tara. Tara's doing a good job just to try and go with the Corvette here, but he's dropped away a bit further here. He'll be relying on Foley to make a bit of a mistake down here at Parabolica and then get another shot at the slipstream. It's not so powerful down this short shoot from Ascari to Parabolica. And Foley negotiates Parabolica, and Tara's wide again and off the road, so he'll definitely not have an opportunity this time around. And Foley continues to hold down 10th.
Yeah, Tara's sort of just having not the best time with Parabolica in the last couple of laps, and yeah, it's definitely hurt his chances of being 9th or possibly even 8th.
Foley's deep. Foley's massive lock-up.
So that'll almost certainly give him a track cut, because he gained a lot of time there. So that's at least 2 that we've seen Foley have. So the limit is 5, I believe, and every single one you get after the 5th will give you a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, so he definitely outbraked himself there, and it's all about how fast you take the curb, right? When he had his moment down here, Bagsy, he went straight across the curb and he went very, very quickly, so he would have been awarded one straight away. Now,
Stairs, second and third place. Stairs is now only 0.7 of a second off Cameron Costa.
So what's happened here? So this is rather interesting, because Stairs was out of this for quite some time. In actual fact, Costa's been dropping back from Sam Smith, so this is on here. In actual fact, Stairs, who was off sequence as well, has to stop again. So I'm wondering if this is probably the reason why the gap has closed up. Fuel loads and tyre wears sort of coming into play.
Costas had a spin to the De La Roggia chicane. Got too much curb.
So he's had a spin, but mind you, Stairs was off sequence to them all as well because of his accident involving Costa, Osrob and himself in the first 15 minutes of the race. But all over the back of Cam Costa here. And
Osrob's in the pits now too, so expect Stairs in this lap most likely.
Yeah, they stopped together. So Stairs just able to make it go that little bit longer on fuel, which is good.
The problem Stairs is going to have is he has one extra pit stop to do compared to Costa. If Stairs stops now, he'll stop again at about 45 minutes to go, and then a short one at 15 minutes to go. And he'll be a pit stop behind effectively, because Costa will stop at an hour to go and half hour to go.
No, that's exactly right. So he's got to do one more, and obviously the first pit stop that he had to do was forced. So he'll have to tour the lane a couple more times, unless there's some fuel saving comes into play and a safety car at an opportune time. So in he comes, the number 5 Tin Shed Racing LMP2 car gets it stopped nicely before the line. No mistakes, and he will be in. I've got, it looks like David Keane. Is that David Keane there? No, that happens in the Lamborghini. That happens to be Will Devonish in the Lamborghini. I apologise. That's Lamborghini in for FCR as well. Costa continues on his way. So you're right, Costa's had the spin, but he'd also been losing time quite rapidly, a couple of tenths a lap to Sam Smith as well. And now Costa's got traffic in the form of Matt Schwass. I'm getting past him here on the exit of the De La Roggia chicane. And now he's got some clear track.
Stairs not taking tyres there.
So no need to take tyres there. That'll get him out comfortably ahead of Roadhog as well. In actual fact, where is Roadhog? Roadhog coming down the pits, and he's pit straight. He's actually got a toe off of Matt Williams here. Shoots past and Stairs, quite comfortably ahead, as you can see there. Roadhog just in the background, so no threat from behind. Roadhog now up to 4th on the road. Matt Williams has had a very, very, very good run for GT. And you can see there, up 7 places from where he started. Now, again, a couple of them due to the fact that a few of the faster runners ahead of him have retired. 2 from LMP2, 1 from GT, out of the faster guys. So 3 of those places as a result of forced retirements, but take nothing away from him. This is something that this guy does regularly, isn't it, Bagsy? No matter what class or category he races in. We've had a spinner there, and that's Rossi's gone round off of Lesmo 2, but no harm done. But Matt Williams, he tends to make a habit of this, doesn't he? Finding positions or gaining positions off the start, and not only that, does a fairly good job of maintaining them as well.
Yeah, he knows how to, win the race the slowest way possible, sort of thing. Just keeping the car there and being there at the finish, because if you're not there at the finish, you don't get the points. So, yeah, he's done quite well. Although the gap is coming down still. It's 6.5 seconds now, down from 10 seconds a few laps ago.
Sorry, Bags, you just saw in the background there that Foley was very, very wide off of the exit of Ascari. But you're right, in terms of points for Scruff, he's got none in GT. He actually he finished second in the LMP2 class at Daytona, but those points are effectively meaningless, just like Drew Carey and the Favours TV show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? He awards them points, but the points don't matter. Matt Williams' points from LMP2 race do not carry over into GT3. He starts afresh, and at Sebring he scored zilch, so he has nothing on the board at the moment and needs a good solid haul of points to get himself back up the leaderboard.
Yeah, technical difficulties before him at Sebring, so he'll be hoping that that doesn't happen in this race. We are 50 minutes into the race, hour and 9 minutes to go, and it's sort of we've slowed down a little bit here. We're in between pit stops, and there's not too much close on track just yet, but there's definitely potential here for this one to boil over a little bit.
Yeah, certainly is the potential, but it's just a matter of what happens and when it happens. You can see the gap between Matt Williams and Philip Boak is close to halved in a minute. It was about 10.5 seconds, probably about 10 or 15 minutes ago. It's now down to 5.5, so Boak's doing a rather good job of reeling in Williams at a steady pace. There he is in the background there. So Williams on the entrance to Ascari, Boak just on the other side of the old banking. And just he'll see Matt Williams ahead and just know that he's continuing to reeling him in and continuing to get closer. And his teammate, you can see Foley behind him as well. Brennan Ross also behind there. And Boak will probably get a little bit of a tow here from Jamie Snow up the main straight, which will bring him a little bit closer to Williams as well. Snow's gotten past on the entrance to Parabolica. You can see there the Corvette of Boak just not close enough to get the slipstream that he wants. And also Foley is starting to stabilise the gap between himself and Boak as well behind this battle. So the lead for GT3 is certainly on. Well, the battle for the lead is certainly on, I should say. And the strategy card will certainly be played out in the next sort of 20 minutes, I'd imagine, when we see these guys start to stop again.
We've got Osrob back in the pits again for some reason. Not sure what's the go there. He's a very short stop for fuel, I think. So, yeah, not sure what's happened there.
Something weird going on there. It wasn't expected to be seen back on pit road so early. He actually stopped before Stairs. Those two guys, if you remember, came in together very early in the piece, inside the first 15 minutes after their accident at Parabolica. And this time around, or the last sequence of stops, Osrob stopped a little bit later than Stairs. A little bit earlier than Stairs, and now back in again. So that's actually dropped him behind Jamie Snow, Osrob, and 6th overall and last in class in LMP2. As Boak has shaved another 3/10 off of Matt Williams here as he kicks up the dust off the exit of Ascari again, Boak, so maximising all the road. And we spoke about how to maximise your speed at the bottom end of that straight during the qualifying. You want to set yourself up off of Ascari to take as much curb as you dare on the last left-hander. Use all the road on the exit and then get your speed up as high as you can before you brake for Parabolica. So Boak's doing a good job of that at the moment. Great helicopter shot here as they Matt Williams leaves the first chicane and now proceeds round Curva Grande for the 30th time in GT. The LMP2 cars have done another 2 laps more, or completed another 2 laps more, so they're on lap 33 at the moment. Still tracking towards the 70 lap estimate, or 70-75 lap estimate that we suspected we were going to get at the beginning of the race. But it's all settled down a little bit now. Turra and Webb are the only 2 guys that are close on track at the moment, and here they are. They've just been rounded up by the race leader, Sam Smith. And they're trying to tuck in there and get a tow. In actual fact, Lewis Cugley's got a watching brief at the moment on these guys in GT class. So, Turra Savazza
was in the pits changing tyres in GT3. He hit from 10th place.
So he'll surrender 10th to the guys coming across the line right now. So Turra goes up to 11th. Drive-through penalty for Brian Walsh. So now where's Brian Walsh? He's just exiting the pits, Brian Walsh. So a pit lane speeding offence for the Ferrari driver. Here at the home of Ferrari, home of the Tifosi. They're all in the stands there, cheering the Ferraris on, but unfortunately for them, it's not going according to plan at the moment.
Yeah, the home of speed also, which he was doing too much of in the pit lane.
Certainly was.
We've had Brenton Foley. He's pit now, so he's pit at the hour and 4 minute to go mark. So unless there's some fuel saving, there may be a need for a very short splash and dash for the Corvettes right near the end, with only about 6 or 7 minutes to go.
It's very possible. Oh, there's a bit of smoke coming out the back here, and that is Miles, and he's going down another lap to Turra. So Miles had a bit of a moment off of Lesmo 2, and having a bit of a torrid time down the straight here. So now Turra's gapped Matt Webb in the Bentley here, which is good for him. He'll stay ahead for a few more laps yet. Oh, and there's some smoke pouring out of the back there of the Ferrari of Glenn Miles, who goes straight on at Ascari and has not re-emerged. Lewis Cugley using, or taking liberties with the exit of Ascari as well, trying to tuck into the slipstream of that Bentley Continental of Matt Webb, and got a nice slipstream here. He's just got to get himself positioned rather well for Parabolica. Matt Webb is slightly wider than Cugley. Cugley is in the slipstream right under the rear wing of that Bentley Continental, and staying tight. He's got Jamie Snow behind them. Snow's going to have to go the long way round, but Lewis Cugley looking to the inside here, but Matt Webb got over a little bit more. They're 3 wide. Snow has to round them up real quick before the pit lane, before the turf ended in the grass. Cugley's in hot, and Snow saw him coming, so that's sensible driving. Jamie Snow stayed wide and saw him coming, and Cugley drops back behind Matt Webb.
Heads up from Cugley as well. He knew that they were coming and didn't jump straight back onto the track, despite the fact that he was going to lose him the position to Webb. So, yeah, good job from Cugley there to do that. Also, I believe we're going to have Philip Bokin, and yes, he is in. Yep. He was down to 3 seconds behind Matt Williams at the end of that stint.
Yeah, it certainly was. We're just watching the replay here of Lewis Cugley going deep at the first chicane, so just tried to go that little bit later on the brakes than his rival Matt Webb, and unfortunately it came unstuck for him. Now has to do all that hard work all over again. Meanwhile, Brock Harvey just 3.7 seconds behind Lewis Cugley as well, as all the pit stops are starting to shake out for the second time. Meanwhile, Turra closing in on Foley again, less than a second.
Boak's about to leave the pits as well. So
yep,
Boak,
there he is. So
lead on these two.
Certainly is. So Boak is touring the pit lane at the minute. Where's Foley in this? Foley is exiting Parabolica with Turra in tow, and yeah, Boak's comfortably out ahead of these guys. In actual fact, he's actually gained.
He's gained a lot.
He's gained a lot, and he cuts the pit lane exit line, but I think he should be okay with that one. There was no cars in the vicinity. They just moved over a bit, so he could take a more appropriate line into the first chicane. Meanwhile, Sam Smith rounding up some traffic in the... looked like he was rounding some traffic in the background. It certainly wasn't him. I thought that was him for the minute, just judging by the blue car. He's down at Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. So, sailing at the moment, Sam Smith. As we approach the hour mark, let's hit the order. So, look at the gap that the TSR driver currently has. He enjoys a near 37-second lead at the moment for Tin Shed Racing over Cam Costa. Cam Costa negotiating some traffic at the moment. Looks like he might be in this lap actually, Cam Costa, on the hour mark. Stairs is currently third, has worked his way back up the order, but still got a lot of work to do. Jamie Snow is fourth. He also has a lot of work to do after his earlier troubles. Ozrob currently in fifth, and the LMP2 field awfully strung out. Roadhog in sixth, not that far behind Ozrob actually, but yet to stop again. Now we get down to GT. Matt Williams on, looking like he's going to be stopping this lap out of Lesmo 2. Dwayne Davies, another McLaren 1-2 in GT at the moment. He's 8th. Boak for Corvette is 9th. And Tara's now moved through into 10th place, ahead of Brenton Foley. So we didn't see that. So Foley now down to 11th. Matt Webb coming in for his second stop, currently 12th on the road. Will surrender that position to Lewis Cugley. Brock Harvey will now go through to take 13th, with Matt Webb currently 14th. Will Devonish will go through and take 14th away, pushing the Bentley driver of Matt Webb down to 15th. Matt Schwass currently 16th, Brenton Ross 17th. And
Matt Williams, GT3 leader in the pits.
GT3 leader is in. To round out the field, Brian Walsh 18th, Glenn Miles 19th, and that's the last year classified runners. So, your leader is in the pits, Matt Williams, coming in for his stop. And he'll surrender 7th place to Dwayne Davies this time around, but not to Boak. So the question now is, what is Matt Williams going to do strategy-wise? He didn't take any tyres that last time around.
He has taken tyres.
He's taking tyres this time. Boak is currently on the run down to Ascari. Here he goes. Left-hander. Stays right for the right-hander. Optimise the line. Take as much exit as you dare. Kick up a little bit of dust while you're at it. And now on the run down to Parabolica. Matt Williams is still stationary. Boak has moved up 8 spots for PBF Race Engineering from where he qualified. Getting the blue flags now for Cam Costa behind him. Should try and tuck in here, Boak. Where's Matt Williams in all of this?
He's just got moving.
So he's going to surrender the position here to Boak if it stays the way that it is. And the job is done. So Boak, I don't think, took tyres that time around. And
I know he did.
He did.
He did.
So that is a very, very big surprise. So Philip Boak makes
As
the
Boak
new tyres
affects
count
the undercut.
and affects the undercut brilliantly. And in actual fact, to the tune of 2.8 seconds. So he was, before the stop shook out, he was about 4 seconds down. Turns it into
3 second. Yeah, it's a 5-second swing.
It's a massive swing. Great job, Boak. So
Also,
getting the in-laps and the out-laps done.
Tara's got past Brenton Foley as well.
Yeah, we did see that on a couple of minutes ago on the broadcast when we went through the order at the hour.
Though.
No, Foley
almost went back to him into the second chicane.
So Foley applying the blowtorch to the back of the BMW. Now down to Lesmo 1. But Foley wants that place back as soon as possible, but probably just needs to bide his time a little bit here. He's still got a long way to go. They just need to work themselves back onto the back of Matt Williams and get that GT battle going again. Dwayne Davies in from 7th place for McLaren, so we'll surrender the lead to Philip Boak. He's got the lights on at the minute, rounding up Miles. Well, Glenn Miles is well off the circuit. I'm not sure what's going on there, whether he's got some wheel trouble or some sort of damage that he's trying to cope with, but don't need to be going that far off the road. So Boak will swing through and lead GT class for the first time today as he takes the lead away from stationary Dwayne Davies in the pits. Matt Williams will also go through. Foley and Tara will also go through. Foley and Tara are now having another ding-dong battle. So Foley's gotten past him before Parabolica. Tara's trying to tuck in the slipstream and get another slingshot down into turn 1. And shows his nose, not quite close enough to make it happen though. So they move up the order. Lewis Cugley gets up into 11th ahead of Dwayne Davies. Oh, went a little bit too deep into turn 1 again. Lewis Cugley managed to pull it up that time. And in actual fact, Dwayne Davies is going to surrenders 12th place to Brock Harvey as well. So a little bit of an awkward moment there for DD on the exit of the first chicane. He surrenders a position to the Lotus driver. So Harvey now up 7 places into 12th. And Cugley now being passed by Ozrob off the exit through the De La Roja chicane. Yeah, Dwayne Davies had a bit of a scrappy lap there. He didn't take that chicane very, very well either. And Cugley's wide, keeps it on the track, but that drops him away, further away from the guys ahead of him, and brings Brock Harvey back into the equation as well. Dwayne Davies wide again, so not having a good outlap at all. Dwayne Davies going very, very wrong for him.
He's over having the best time there. Just having a quick look through where the points stand at the moment, if the race will finish now.
Alright, I will leave you with that to come in as soon as you are ready. Meanwhile, let's go back to our GT3 leader, Philip Boak. He's stretching that lead. He's out to 4.5 seconds. The gap is still visual, so Matt Williams can see him. A 48.4 that time around to a 48.9, so he pulled out a half a second. Sam Smith comes out of the pits just behind Matt Williams. So we'll round up the FCR driver.
Tara's having another go at Foley into the first corner.
Yep, they're behind here. So Foley and Tara and Foley. Foley comes out on top for the moment, so that battle continues. And now Cugley under pressure from Brock Harvey. So Harvey making the most of Cugley's little mistakes, going deep at a few turns here and there or overcooking it. And the little Lotus that could is still in circulation at the moment with 53 minutes to go. So it'd be a nice swing of points for Brock Harvey because he finished well at Daytona.
He's remember he's out of sequence though,
and
so
he's out of sequence.
He hasn't taken his second pit stop yet.
He's still got one more to go after that as well, but still going strongly. He needs a good result too, Brock Harvey, because he also didn't do too well at the last round. Sebring on Cugley's off the road. Cugley's bouncing across the gravel. Roadhog's rounding up Brock Harvey here as well. Brock Harvey going with Roadhog and rounds up Lewis Cugley. So Cugley again overcooking it into Lesmo 2 that time around, and Brock Harvey slips past with the assistance of Lewis Cugley's indiscretion across the road, off the track. And Brock Harvey looks like he's going to be coming in this lap as well.
Cugley just needs to realise that Brock Harvey isn't the person he's racing at the moment because he's effectively a whole pit stop ahead of him. So, yeah, he might have been feeling that pressure from behind from Brock Harvey that he really didn't need to.
Yeah, part of the issue some of the drivers face as well here too, Bagsy, is that they don't know where what the sort of sequences a lot of these guys are going on.
Going on Foley again.
Well, Brock Harvey is currently coming in. Lewis Cugley thought he was going to stay with him. We're back to Tara and Foley for round 3. Ding, ding, ding. Gloves are on. Tara this time prevails. Got the move done beautifully. Had the inside for turn number 1 and kept it round the outside for turn 2. So let's have a look at that in the replay. He was in the slipstream. Oop, there we are. Got the camera this time. Down into turn number 1. Got the braking done really, really well. And shut the door and got the better traction off of turn 2. So good job, Greg Tara, and that battle is still going to continue.
Go into the second chicane as well, so they're still very close.
Foley's loose.
Slopper.
Very
That's a big slopper there, but he's made it fine. He's fixed it up. He's had that small clenching moment, and he's going to get back on with it.
He certainly is very, very loose off of Lesmo number 1. Roadhog going to try and round him up before Ascari here. Goes to the inside, the LMP driver, and entitles himself to the space, and he does.
Just to quickly go through the points as they stand. For GT3, Boak and Foley would be leading the championship 1-2 for PBF Racing. Matt Webb 3rd, Schwass 4th, Harvey 5th, and Wedding in 6th with that DNF and 1 win.
It's a
Two
massive,
DNFs and 1 win.
it's a massive swing in terms of context of this championship for Lewis Wedding.
Indeed.
How far behind would he actually be from the rate from the points leader, Bagsy, if everything finishes the way that it's currently situated?
29 points, which is more than a win behind, so that's not looking good for Lewis Wedding's championship hopes.
No, certainly not. What about LMP2 class?
In LMP2, Sam Smith, with, if he stays where he is, 2 from 2, 20 points, will be ahead of a tie for second place between Ozrob and Jamie Snow, with Jamie Snow being ahead on countback because of his win at Daytona, followed by Cameron Costa 1 point behind them, and then we would have Matt Williams, who's out of it. Mangle would be 4th in that case then, and Stairs would be 5th.
So, swings and roundabouts with 49.5 minutes to go. Championship implications for the reigning GT3 champion, and big ones at that. So, for Lewis Wedding, he'll be hoping that Foley can lose a couple more spots to the guys behind him. Now, Dwayne Davies is 8.5 seconds off Devonish 20.5, so that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Got Costa closing in on Stairs for second place. Obviously, they're off sequence, but Costa's made his second stop and has now ended up behind Stairs again.
He has. And Tara's
Stairs.
off at Ascari. Sorry to cut you off there, Bagsy. Tara's off at Ascari, and Foley slips back through again. So Tara just outbraked himself a little bit. It was just a fraction too late on the brakes, but then he ended up touring the right-hand bend of turn number 9 through Ascari, and Foley slips through back into 9th place again.
Yeah, back to Stairs. He is probably pitting in the next 1 or 2 laps, I'd say, based on the time. But we see, because they're close to each other again, he hasn't gained that much time in the previous stint. This is where they were before Stairs came into the pits beforehand, when they were off sequence with each other. So Stairs not really able to make inroads into Costa, sadly.
No, sadly not. So the TSR driver currently occupies second place, but he's got another stop to make, and if we don't get a safety car, one more. So in actual fact, it's probably the longest we've gone. I know we're probably jinxing it by saying the word safety car quite a lot. As Stairs goes rather deep and actually cuts the chicane there, the Della Rogers chicane, so wouldn't be surprised if he sees a warning for that.
Having issues ahead of him, he's gone off the road.
Yeah, so Roadhog is going to go a lap, has gone a lap down. Where's Roadhog? Yeah, he's touring the grass, or the gravel there. So I'm not sure if that means that his day's done. It looks like it might be done, and in fact it is.
Retired.
So unfortunately for Roadhog, was going along rather nicely, but he is out of this one, so we're down to 5 runners in LMP2. So disappointing for the man who decides that his team name, no matter what language it's written in, I believe, Bagsy, correct me if I'm wrong here, was it Crotch Explosion Force Velocity or something along those lines?
I believe that is, and it's been translated into many different languages. Many countries have had the joy of having their language represented by Roadhog's racing team.
Certainly have. Well, here goes Costa. He's onto the back of Stairs now, and he'll be looking for the slipstream and for the opportunity to present itself. Now, is Stairs going to fight it, or is he going to let him go if he pulls out?
Stairs has much older tyres, so he's probably not going to be given a choice, really.
Yep. Stairs a little bit, has the optimal line there and holds the position. I thought for a minute he was going to get a little bit too close for comfort to the outside of the track, put his wheel on the white line, but got the braking job done. Holds Costa off for another lap, or for another couple of corners at least anyway. Costa looks to the inside here. Ooh, sorry, Bagsy, looking again, Cam Costa, but not able to affect the pass. Go on.
Costa just has to bide his time because Stairs is in a lap or two, so it's really, there's not much point in risking doing damage to both of them, ruining both their races, and also getting a penalty for making a Banzai move. So It's not really in some drivers' vocabulary, but patience is something that they all need in this regard.
No, you're certainly right. They just needed a cool head. He's currently sitting in third. Second is on offer for him, and will probably happen with, we suspect, Stairs having to make 2 more stops. We're guaranteed at least 1 more, possibly 2. Oh, Costa's very wide. Very, very wide.
And you'd be lucky to not get a track cut for that.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. I would not be surprised if he ends up with a track violation against his name for that. So you have to be careful, some of these drivers, toward the back end of this race. A couple of them have been penalised already for drive-through penalties and the like, mainly for speeding in the pit lane, but they will receive drive-throughs or stop-goes if they get done for track violation too many times.
Not too much close action on track apart from these two, just looking down the field. We've had Jamie Snow pit, though, for his penultimate stop. He'll definitely have to stop 1 more time from here.
He certainly will. Well, Sam Smith enjoys a comfortable half a minute lead over this pair. And all the LMP2 runners currently on the lead lap, with the exception of Jamie Snow, who's been lapped by... Oh, actually, sorry, I apologise. Ozrob and Jamie Snow have both been lapped by Sam Smith. So only the top 3 currently on the lead lap. Here's Sam Smith on the run down to Parabolica at the moment. But the real focus at the moment is on this exchange here between Cam Costa and Stairs. And Stairs has just got a little bit of margin at the moment. He just eked it out to 3/4 of a second.
Yeah,
Takes the
Ascari.
Has
had that bit of rub of the traffic there.
Yeah, he had a little bit better run through the traffic. But Costa gets a better exit off of Ascari here and starts to reel in the car. Not by much, but he does. Jamie Snow's ahead.
So much better. He's got so much more grip available to him, and Stairs just isn't able to, get the car turned in, get the car powered out anywhere near as well. Like, we look at tyres that are basically twice as worn as the ones that Costa has.
No, that's right. So, Stairs to the inside here. They'll round up the Bentley of Matt Webb quite comfortably. Oh, Matt Webb's moved over and probably didn't realise that Cam Costa was actually there and had to move back very, very quickly. And now falls in behind this pair.
Costa a shot at getting him into the first chicane there, but so sort of the opposite of what you usually expect. Usually the first person to come up on the traffic has the issues, but in this case it was the second person.
That's exactly right. So normally, as we were saying a number of times in the past, the first person along for the traffic normally wakes them up, and then in this case Matt wasn't sort of really awake to the fact that there was more than one car actually there. Saw Stairs coming, but didn't see the blue and white car behind Stairs, and thought, oh yeah, I'll tuck into the slipstream here and get a bit of a free tow, and then whoops, there was another one right there, and he very, very quickly retreated back to the other side of the track.
Just wondering if Stairs has been doing some fuel saving here, because this stint is a lot longer than his previous one. His previous pit was around the hour and 15-minute mark, and they've been pretty much bang on half-hour stints, so he's already gone a few minutes extra here. If he's been fuel saving a bit, that might explain why he didn't extend the gap to Costa, and it also might mean that he's going to try and get one more from here, but I think it's very unlikely he'll be able to do that.
Well, Costa's right under the rear wing here and having a little bit of a look into Parabolica, and he's alongside and entitles the space. Little bit of rubbing, but that's fair, and Cam Costa prevails. At the moment, Stairs takes a bit too much grass. They're coming up to Jamie Snow as well to put him a lap down in their little battle. But Stairs are going to have the inside run here on Cam Costa on the older tyres. And we'll have track position, and Costa's probably just going to be a little bit sensible here and just think about what to do. Stairs have gone deep, so Stairs will have to surrender the position, and he does. So,
yeah, he doesn't have the tyres for it.
No, he certainly doesn't. And I think maybe you're right, Bagsy. He might be doing some fuel saving. So Stairs' last lap around before then was a 38.2 compared to his best lap of a 38.6. So not that far away, but he did have the benefit of a tow. So that's Cam Costa, sorry. A 38.6 compared, and that was his best lap. So Cam Costa that time around 38.2 and Stairs 38.6.
Stairs is not fuel saving then. I've been proven wrong by his pace.
Well, it's an interesting point you raised, because we haven't seen that. We've got just over 40 minutes to go. the safety car hasn't intervened, so it hasn't allowed any strategies to really unfold around the safety car, nor close up any of the gaps. So Stairs had to do something. He had to think about, if I can fuel save a little bit, can I buy myself a few extra laps and get myself back onto the same sort of sequence as Cam Costa, so I've got a chance of finishing second at the end of this. I mean, third place at the moment is quite comfortable. Oh, that's a little bit naughty. That's a little bit unfortunate for Brendan Ross, because Stairs was trying to round him up off the exit of Ascari, and there was probably a little bit of impatience there from both parties. Stairs wanted to go around the outside, and Stairs has spun it. Yeah, Stairs is around and spun it, but only a half spin. Ends up pointing the right way, and looks like he's going to be pitting this lap. He's going to be pitting this lap. Here he comes. So those tyres are shot. So right on 40 minutes to go. Can he get home from here, Bagsy? Do you reckon he can fuel save it from here, or is it touch and go?
I don't think so. And even if he did, there's not really too much point, because he's not going to beat Costa with that strategy of fuel saving. He'll be so much slower.
No.
Really, and I think he might have been trying to go an extra lap, maybe, or two, and then he might have been able to get home, but I don't think from here. He's got a new set of tyres, but really, I don't think he's going to improve on his third position, bar a mistake from Costa or Smith.
No, certainly not.
He tried his best with the cards he was dealt, which was that unfortunate incident into Parabolica near the start of the race.
Yeah, certainly right. So he was looking to probably extend it as much as he could to try and give himself something to fight with toward the end of this race, but unfortunately for Stairs, it's come unstuck at Parabolica, and he's in. So the question now remains is, can he get to the flag from here? Costa rounds up Jamie Snow, so Costa currently secure in second place, some 33 seconds down on Sam Smith. So Sam in cruise control, as he has been since he got past Greg Nangle a couple of laps into the race, and has never been headed since. Nangle unfortunately out of this one only after just 4 laps, so sad to see the Professor out of the running, but there's another race in 2 weeks, and we'll see him make amends then.
Sam Smith still out in the lead of this race. Has driven a flawless race so far. With, I think as I say that, he runs a bit wide out of Lesmo too, but
yeah,
an almost flawless race. He's put Stairs a lap down now, so only 2 cars in lead lap now. Although that is mainly due to the sequencing. Sam will be in to pit in about 7 minutes time. They'll put Stairs back on the lead lap as Brendan Ross gets a drive-through penalty.
Yep. So we're looking to see where Brendan Ross currently is, and he is,
I believe.
Looks like it's a track cut, because you're right, he is out currently on the track at the moment. So unfortunately, victim number 1 of the track violation policy.
I'm amazed it has taken this long, to be honest.
I concur, actually, Bagsy. I'm surprised it's lasted this long as well. I mean, we have seen a few people cutting the chicanes, accidentally, we should say, outbraking themselves. But as you saw from when Stairs cut the chicane a couple of laps ago, down at the first chicane, he did slow down significantly enough and ceded position to Cam Costa behind him. So that in itself would have meant that he did not take that part of the track in the time limit, or in the time that would normally be expected, and as a result was not penalised. So in another example where you run across the chicane and you gain time, then you will be stung. So you're right. Most people have been pretty well behaved, actually. I'm surprised that it's taken this long. We've only had 2 drive-through penalties for speeding in the pit lane and 1 for the track violation. So even the speeding violations for a 2-hour race. As Costa spins, and he's been run into by Jamie Snow at turn number 1 and 2. So that's a little bit messy, and that might be a carrot for Stairs. And the safety car's come out. The safety car has come out, so the cards have fallen. This is a big story now, because that little accident at the chicane has unfortunately brought out the safety car. It blocked the track, and only just for a split second, but the damage has been done, and we are now under the control of the Camaro safety car. Where's Sam Smith in all of this? So Sam Smith's coming down to Parabolica now to complete lap 50. Safety car will be out.
This is actually really unfortunate for Stairs because he is a lap down on Sam Smith, so Costa's gonna come all the way around up behind him.
Yep.
And he's gonna be able to pit in this safety car period. So that's unfortunately, I think, gonna end Stairs' campaign.
Yep. Brendan Ross receives another drive-through penalty. Not sure what that one's for. Possibly another track violation, but Brock Harvey receiving one as well. So where's Brock Harvey on track? So he's in the pits. So pitting under. This might be for pitting under the safety car with a closed pit lane. So where's Harvey?
I think
so. Harvey's exited the pit lane, and Brendan Ross looks like he may have as well. So did those guys come in with the pit lane closed? I'd like you to have a look into that one if you can, please, Bagsy.
Yeah, I'm having a quick look now. I believe that they have come under while the pit lane's closed.
So unfortunate yeah. So
I may just have to quickly go confirm that.
So down to the pit lane you go to see what's going on. And Brock Harvey, I believe, has just made a quick comment in the broadcast booth on the team radio. Brock, can you confirm that you did come in under a closed pit lane?
Yeah, I forgot it wasn't Supercar.
Well, there we go. There's your answer. Thank you, Brock. So you did come in and the pit lane was closed. So the drive-through penalty is legit for Brock Harvey. And you're right. While the safety car has come out, it has come out at the most inopportune time for Stairs, because this allows Cam Costa to get back onto the back of Sam Smith. Both of them have to stop again, and likely probably to do so this lap. Now, the next question is, where's Cam Costa? So Costa's just coming off of Lesmo 2. Sam Smith is behind the safety car coming down to Ascari. So they won't be too far apart, but they're going to have traffic in between them. Surely they both have to stop now, Bagsy. They've both got to come in now, get this over and done with, and they might have to fuel save a little bit because there's 33.5 minutes to go, but they'll probably need to fuel save in order to make the line. So Foley's just been let through ahead of the safety car. Looks like Sam Smith's going to be coming in this lap.
Brenton Foley had the free pass.
So you got the free pass, so Foley will get a lap back. In actual fact, he's behind Matt Williams as well. So actually they were all a lap down. So now we see what happens here. We suspect that Costa and Sam Smith will be in. Stairs and Osrob will stay out. So yes, here we go. So Sam Smith in, and Stairs is coming in too. No, Fake's going in. So Osrob, so Sam Smith in, Brendan Ross in, Costa in, Osrob's in as well. So Osrob is battling with Stairs, and will have the fresher tyres, not by much, only by a couple of laps. So race leader in, and Sam Smith not taking tyres. Neither is Cam Costa. Is that wise? Oh no, Sam Smith is taking tyres. So the rear of that car's been jacked up. So Costa's not taking any tyres. Oh, and there's a little bit of a collision in the pit lane between Costa and Tara. But Costa has not taken any tyres, and he gets out ahead of Sam Smith.
Costa had been really gentle on his tyres, and Sam was on his middle stint. So yeah, that's not.
And this is a disaster. And this is a disaster in the pit lane for Greg Tara as well, because he's sharing a pit boom with Osrob and has to wait by the look of things, and he does. So, my goodness gracious me, Osrob's got a drive-through penalty as well, and that'll be for a pit lane speeding infringement. So that gamble to take a pit stop and the fresher tyres for Osrob has not come off. Tara gets a penalty as well, so
I'm not sure if they're meant to have happened, to be honest.
I'm not sure if they're meant to have happened either. You might want to go and have a bit of a look at that and just double check, seeing as you are race control steward here as well, Bagsy. So Lewis Cugley also with one, so a number of drivers with penalties. But the upshot of this is Costa finds himself in the lead ahead of Sam Smith. Stairs is third. He's at the head of this safety car train at the moment. Jamie says, well, Matt Webb's across the road. What happened to Matt Webb? Where is... I'm going to go back and see what happened here because that was mighty, mighty unusual. Did he get a love tap from somebody? While Bagsy's looking into this penalty situation. Yeah, Matt Webb minding his own business. And the field starts to check up a little bit. And, oh, he ran into the back. Did he run into the back of somebody? Did he get a nudge from somebody? That's really, really strange. Just going to go back and have a bit of a look to see what's happened here. The replay is a little bit slow. You certainly didn't get a... Something to see here. We're going to cycle back to Cam Costa and have a look from Cam Costa's point of view as this all went down. No, he just checked up. So there was a Ferrari that checked up in front of Matt Webb. And unfortunately, I think it might be in the Ferrari of Brian Walsh, means that Matt Webb has dropped a couple of positions there. He'll get them back though. And in actual fact, Matt Webb's going into the pits. So a number of the GT cars also coming into the pits. I think Tara's penalty may have been for coming in when he may not have supposed to have come in.
No. They were all clear to...
In actual fact, we've got the green flag. We've got the green flag. So green flag's been shown here. And that was very, very quick restart. So we didn't suspect that was going to be the case. So Costa holds on at the minute, but they've got to negotiate the GT traffic. So sorry for the viewers, we missed that restart. We thought we were going another lap. Clearly we haven't. Cam Costa's got the bit between the teeth, and he's got the lead of this race, and now needs to put the foot down with 29 minutes to go and hold off a charging Sam Smith. So Sam changed tyres. Cam Costa did not. Stairs is fighting to get himself back onto the lead lap here in the hope that we might get another safety car and he can get himself back around for another attempt. And meanwhile, our first safety car falls with about 35 minutes to go, and with 28 and a half to go, we are back underway again. And it's Costa from Smith, from Stairs, who's a lap down, from Jamie Snow, who's a lap down, or Stairs, sorry, trying to fight to get back on the lead lap, and Ozrob is in 5th.
Sorry, you have to forgive me. I had some technical issues and had to restart the game.
That's all right. You are forgiven. So, commentator pit stop for myself, having a quick swig of water. But Cam Costa leads by 1.1 seconds from Sam Smith. And you'll see Stairs ahead. Know that the battle is not between himself and Stairs, but he's got to get his head down here. In actual fact, I'm starting to get a bit worried too, Bagsy, that maybe that the frame rate issues are returning, so I'm starting to get it as well. So apologies to the viewers that this is not going to go according to plan by the looks of things. Yep, they're starting to happen again. So apologies to the viewers. We have done our best to try and get this resolved for you, but clearly the same thing is happening again. And Bagsy, you can make this a radio show if you can, please, because I'm going to take the liberties and get this done. Because this is not what we expected. So again, our issues become a problem.
Glenn Miles has picked himself up a drive-through penalty. Although it can't seem to see him on the track, so I'm not sure what the go is there.
So we have to have a bit of a review of these endurance things. There was some testing done during the week to try and alleviate some of the problems, but it looks like the problems might be a little bit more severe than that. And this certainly has hampered our WEC broadcast for quite a number of weeks now. So apologies to the viewers. We will endeavour to get this back up and running for you. And it sounds like we're going to have a little bit of further work to do in order to get those issues rectified, because clearly they haven't been fully resolved.
Sorry, I've got my system all up and running. Stairs has been passed by Cameron Costa again, so he's a lap down now. Very unfortunate for Stairs there. He's getting out the way of Sam Smith now, letting him on through so Sam Smith can attack Cameron Costa. A bit of team play there. Stairs probably realised that it's a bit futile to try and make up a whole lap with a very short amount of time, less than half an hour remaining in this race.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm also just noticing, Bagsy, that Matt Webb appears to have retired as well. So some sort of issues for Matt Webb. So not
bad to worse for Matt Webb.
From bad to worse, and it's no points for the man in second place in the GT3 Championship, and it means no points for that particular team in this race.
Yeah, it's not what they're after. Philip Boak in sixth, currently leading GT3 class by 17 seconds. He's coming down towards Parabolica, while Matt Williams is just coming up to Ascari. And Matt Williams has a decent chunk of time over Brenton Foley, who's currently third. But Brenton Foley is part of a big pack for the last podium position. It's Brenton Foley going through Lesmo 2, followed immediately by Matt Schwass and Greg Tara right on their tails. So this is going to be a battle all the way to the end for the final podium spot, and no one has to stop, so they can go all out.
Well, speaking of going all out, broadcast is back up for the viewers. Cam Costa has got the lead at the moment, and he has got about 24 minutes to go in this race, or just over 24 minutes to go. I'm just trying to get our timings right. He leads Sam Smith. Oh, he's gone deep.
He's
gone deep.
Very deep.
And very deep. And will he surrender the position? No, he doesn't. He's going to fight for it. Sam's on the inside here, so Costa made the mistake. Sam Smith capitalises and gets through, but Costa is still right there. Those guys are going to fight to the flag. So we're just trying to see where they are on track relative to how much time we have left. So the clock that we see says 24 minutes now, but we think it's about 23 minutes and 53 seconds. So there's about a 7-second differential from our timing to what we see here. Sam's gone wide off of Lesmo number 1. Costa back down the inside at Lesmo 2. And gets the position back. Sam's going to have to do all that hard work again, but he's much closer this time around. Costa is going to have to defend.
He may come to regret changing those tyres there, because it doesn't seem to be giving the advantage he hoped. He's got to wait for a mistake from Costa. Costa's a little bit deep in the Scari there. Smith's going to have a better run coming down into Parabolica. He is very close to the back of Cameron Costa's LMP2 car. He can tell you the serial number of his tail light, and he goes to the outside for Parabolica. He's going to try the long way around.
No, not there.
He's done a good job, Cameron Costa, to get that turned into the corner, but he's
certainly
not
has
managed to shake Sam Smith, who runs a little wide, but is still right there. He is not going to give up on this win, Sam Smith. He wants it.
Here he is. Is he on board? Down the inside on the run to turn number 1. Gets the job done quite easily in the end, actually. Got the wonderful slingshot off of the last turn, and now has a little bit of traffic to negotiate in Philip Boak. Oh, and that's forced him wide as well. And he's got the rubbish on the tyres to boot, so that's unfortunate traffic situation for Sam Smith. He now actually falls behind Stairs. Stairs a lap down, but should let his teammate through rather quickly. But unfortunately, the traffic situation there just didn't play out in Sam's favour. Sam thought he was going down the inside of his teammate there for a minute, but not quite. They'll round up Philip Boak, and Stairs will just need to find a spot to let Sam, I would imagine, go here, because Costa has got
there he goes.
There he goes. Lets him through. And now Costa's got 3 seconds on him already, or a couple of seconds at least.
The excuse me. The traffic giveth, the traffic taketh away. It gave him a win in Sebring, but it may have taken a win away from him here. Although we do know that he has better tyres, and probably has the pace on Cameron Costa, let's be honest, after what we've seen previously. But he needs to stick it together, as Jamie Snow has a big wiggle in the background.
Yeah, he certainly
We've seen him. He's passed Costa twice and then immediately made mistakes. So he needs to not do that to win the race.
No,
Seems obvious, but it's easier said than done.
You're absolutely right. Cam Costa rounds the last turn to complete his 57th lap. You'll notice the graphic at the top there says 55 and 2 hours remaining. That's not correct. We will read them out to you as they go. Gets past Dwayne Davis. He's gone deep again, Costa.
Deep. Very, very deep.
So that's the second time.
Very slowly across here to not get a track cut.
Yeah, well, that's the second time he's been he's been across there. So Sam Smith is going to try and run him up on the grass.
Oh,
Sam's made a pass in the grass. How on earth did he manage to make that stick? And he rounded up Costa, who was trying to round up the GT traffic at the same time. Brilliant job. Let's have a look at this on the replay. That was absolutely phenomenal. Here he comes, got GT traffic to boot, comes to the inside, to the outside. Costa's going defensive, didn't leave the cars with, and Sam just stuck 2 wheels in the grass and said, stuff you, buddy, I'm going around the outside, and I'm going to make it stick, and he did just that. That has probably got to be one of the moves or the best moves we've seen in GT3 or endurance racing in AMS Australia to date, Bagsy.
Oh, probably one of the best passes in AMS Oz to date so far. It's absolutely good. He's come straight under pressure from Costa, though. They're still line astern. But Sam has a big swapper. Costa goes very wide. They won't be able to do much of that before they wear out their tyres and get track cuts. Yeah, he saw that the whole track was filled with cars and decided, I'll just make my own track around the outside of Curva Grande because I want this first place. I want this win. I want to have a clean sheet of wins for every race I've entered. And he's gained a little bit coming through Parabolica, maybe not enough to break the slipstream, but it's definitely advantaged Smith now. Well,
he certainly has. Well, we'll put that one up there with the NASCAR's famous pass in the grass as well, because he certainly was in the grass and he was gone and he managed to hang on to it. So great job, Sam Smith. But this is what it is, isn't it? Bagsy. It is a simple case of when you're out in front and you're looking for that first race win, the pressure that comes to you can sometimes be a little bit too much, and you just got to have your wits about you and just knuckle down and focus on the important things. Your braking, getting your traction right, getting your lines right, and unfortunately for Cam, he made a critical error for the second time at that chicane, and unfortunately that time it cost him rather badly.
Well, Sam's struggling.
But Sam's struggling, yeah, he is.
Will Devonish not really being the most helpful person there for Sam Smith. He's gone and he's really slowed him up through the Les. Oh, there was a big crash off in the background there. Someone's gone straight on. You
have a look at that for me. I did see it.
He's out of the race.
So Jamie Snow, there he's gone, completely gone. So he's out of this. We're down to 4 runners now as Tara sets his quickest lap of a 48.2. As we cycle back to the lead of this race, Sam Smith, 37.4, his best lap. He'll need a few more of those to get past Cam Costa. Or sorry, not to get past, but to break the shackles of Cam Costa. Costa a little bit wider this time around, searching for the slipstream. They got Glenn Miles as for traffic company. Sam's had to go the long way, so Glenn Miles did get out of the way off of the exit there. So that's rather strange. I would like to actually. Sam Smith will hold on for the moment, but we'll go back and have a look at this with the onboard from Sam, because that was rather strange. Here it is from the bumper cam. Oh, it's on the racing line all the way down and just didn't see them trying to round him up. So Sam having to go to the inside of the outside of the track, still made the pass stick, and now we are line astern again between these two.
Yeah, Sam Smith, if you're like, Sam has a big swapper into Lesmo 1.
He's hanging it out on the ragged edge at the moment, and he's got traffic again.
It's going to say this is not the cool collected Sam we saw for the first 80% of the race. This is Sam under pressure, and Cam Costa has found another gear to be able to apply this pressure. Remember, Costa's on older tyres. He's doing all this on tyres that are much older because he didn't take tyres to jump Sam Smith under the safety car pit stops. So this is Costa driving possessed and wanting a win.
It certainly is. This gives a lot of... Oh, there's a bit of a touch, so Cugley probably didn't realise that Cam Costa was there as well. Probably did what Matt Webb tried to do and get a bit of a tow from the LMP car, but not that time around because Cam Costa was there. And we go round to complete lap 59. So we're probably going to fall. We're going to fall a little bit short of our 75 target distance because of the safety car intervention. Cam Costa's run under the rear wing here. They get past Brendan Ross. Cam Costa's looking to the inside, tucks back in. Is he going to make a late braking move? Yes, he is. And is he going to pull it up in time? No. Sam Smith, cuts right back across the front of him and says, "Thank you very much," and slams the door shut.
He came so close there, Costa. He did pull it up before the corner, though. He made the corner, but it just not in the quickest way he could have. So that was some poor luck there from Sam. Well, not poor luck, but he just couldn't quite get the braking done. And it's given Sam a small lead, not a big one, a very small one. And Stairs behind all this, he's a lap down, but he's probably thinking, if they just happen to collide with each other and do enough damage, I'll be able to get that lap back. But I've got to say, I'm quite impressed by Costa's driving here on a car with older tyres. He's doing quite well, although that gap, that may have been his last gasp effort with those tyres in terms of the gap jumping out to about 2 seconds now. Well, that's still very impressive driving from both. Yeah,
15 minutes to go, and he's now got a decent gap here. Sam Smith got about 2 seconds to Cam Costa. And we're going to get probably at least another 10 laps in before the racing is done, or probably even more than that, might even get closer to 12. But just settles down again for another stanza. This is probably a lesson to the rest of the LMP2 field, isn't it, Bagsy, in terms of the tyres at some of these circuits that we visit aren't going to buy you time. As Costa's in. So Costa must have a little bit of damage, or maybe he couldn't make it on fuel. Maybe he's thought, you know what, I'm going to come in and just be safe here. But he's touring the lane. He's changing tyres.
He is changing tyres.
So very, very strange. That gives Stairs a bit of a free path, but he's still a lap down.
Stairs still a lap down, so...
But it means Costa, no traffic ahead.
Costa won't be putting any fuel in, presumably, so that he should be on his way quite quickly. Yep. Barring a safety car. You might see Sam Smith slow down a bit now. Maybe let Stairs through in case of another safety car.
Well, Stairs is a couple of seconds behind Sam on the track. But curious to see why Cam Costa has come in. Whether or not he couldn't make it on fuel, or whether he had something wrong or some damage that needed to be repaired. But nonetheless, he has... Oh, Brock Harvey just in the way there of Sam Smith off the exit of the Lesmo 2. But Sam can probably go into a fuel conservation mode now and just cruise to the line, because he's got just under 13.5 minutes to go. And the one thing we were a bit worried about when the safety car came out where it did was that it was going to mean a very, very tight fuel mileage finish. Maybe that's what Cam Costa's gone for. Maybe he's gone for the fact that he's actually up at Curva Grande. So notice he changed tyres. He's gone probably with a full tank of juice as well, which is probably a little bit unnecessary. But Sam Smith, by contrast, is down at Parabolica, so Costa's 3/4 of a lap behind at the moment. And Sam coming down to the line. We'll get you the time in a couple of moments to see how fast he actually is going. Let's keep in mind our timing is a little bit behind by virtue of the unfortunate frame rate issues coming into play again. Sam Smith that time around 1:40 dead, so he has backed his pace off a little bit, just still maintaining a decent pace, but he's on a fuel mileage run as well. Stairs is also, looks like he's in a fuel mileage thing too, 1:40.2 that time around as well in third place. But take nothing away from Sam, he pretty much had control of this race right up until the safety car, and then he had to fight and had to earn it. A fantastic scrap with Cam Costa, and now can afford to probably just settle in for the remaining 12-minute run to the flag, working lap 63 at the moment, and with traffic. What we should probably do, now that that little leading battle is sort of settled down a bit, go back and have a look at GT. As Boak leads GT, and Costa just coming up to pass the GT car into turn number 1 and 2. But Boak has got quite a nice advantage at the moment over Matt Williams to the tune of about 13 seconds. which is rather good for him, but also good for Matt Williams in terms of a haul of points. Greg Turra in third, and he holds down that position over Brenton Foley. Foley just being lapped by Sam Smith here. So Foley and Turra have had pretty much a race-long battle for those last few spots on the GT3 podium, and still got 11 minutes to sort out as Ross receives another penalty, so it hasn't been a good run of penalties for him. Here's Lewis Cugley. He's occupying 10th overall, 4th in class. Apart from the spin and a couple of times where he failed to pull up at turn number 1, a very measured drive and a good fistful of points for him as well. Will Devonish for FCR is 5th in class. Sorry, 6th in class, I do apologise. And then Dwayne Davies is 7th. Matt Schwass, here he is 8th. Brock Harvey, 9th in the class. Running top 10 in class, Brian Walsh. Remaining runners on the track, Brendan Ross, Glenn Miles. Some considerable number of laps down, but still circulating.
Yeah, sorry, I was just removing a penalty that someone had gotten incorrectly.
Yep, no problem there. Well, Costa, 37.5 seconds behind Sam Smith now. Costa pumping in the laps, so that lap time around was a 41. The last lap around for Cam Costa was a 41.8. Sam Smith's 42.0. So Sam definitely going into fuel conservation mode. I think all the LMP cars, apart from Cam Costa, probably going into fuel conservation mode here. 9.5 to go. Stairs is actually catching Sam Smith here. Must have got a little bit of a toe, and
I think Sam's just laying past onto the lead lap in case of.
Well, this is troublesome because for Stairs, this is most important because Osrob behind him is actually, or he's actually a lap down. Osrob, I think. Oh, Sam's gone deep at the turn 1 as well. I think maybe just getting out. He's either missed it or he's just letting them out of the way. So Stairs gets back onto the lead lap. And also the problem for Stairs is he's got Osrob right behind him, and those guys are in a battle for the last podium position as well. So that's a bit. So Sam's probably done the right thing, let those guys go, because the last thing he wanted to be doing was being a moving obstacle for guys that are a little bit quicker at the moment, because they've got to compete for this last spot on the podium. So that'll continue to go on for a little while yet. Stairs driving the car very straight at the moment, but can't quite break the toe that Osrob's got on him at the moment. At less than a second down to Ascari. Just over 8 minutes to go now, so probably another 7 or 8 laps in this one.
Yeah, remembering we go end of time plus 1 lap, so depending on when the line is crossed depends on how many laps we will end up doing.
You just saw in the background.
Currently on lap 64.
Saw in the background a shot there, Turra sliding it a little bit through Ascari, and then Foley's still right under the rear wing of that BMW, so they have continued to battle away there for the last position on the podium. Osrob's having all this, looking to try and distract Stairs on the run into turn number 1, but unsuccessful this time around. Actually, Stairs got better traction out of the turn that time as well, and will hold position for the moment. Osrob just dropped away a little bit there, so
Turra seems to have broken the back of Foley's last charge there, and has got the gap out to a few seconds now. So
yeah, as you can see it here,
up ahead of Stairs.
You can see it here on the broadcast. It's at least 2 seconds at the moment now. So that battle looks to be settled in favour of Greg Turra at the moment in GT. And next man up the road for Greg Turra is Matt Williams, but he's some 19 seconds up the road. So, or was 19. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, about that. The timing's fluctuating on our screen here. So Matt Williams is there. He is coming down towards Parabolica, just ahead of the third-placed LMP2 battle. So they'll round him up probably in this next lap coming.
Sam Smith back to his regular easygoing ways out the front now, no longer under pressure.
Yes, no longer under any pressure.
The gap's actually, well, it's hard to tell because their timings do fluctuate a little bit, so might revert to the old manual method of timing from when they cross the line.
Yep. So here comes Sam Smith to complete lap 65. Sorry, lap 66, sorry, I do apologise. So lap 66 he completes. He's really gone into fuel conservation mode now. Last time around, before that lap, was a 46 and a 44. It's a minute 44 this time around, so he's comfortable, but he's definitely fuel saving this one. Consequently, Cam Costa is not fuel saving. He's getting the gap down. He's taking 4 seconds a lap out of Sam, but he's going to run out of time and run out of laps. Also, in consequence, Stairs and Ozrob going at it, hammer and tongs. They're in the 39s and mid 40s, so they're going full chat for the final podium spot.
Gap between Sam and Cameron Costa, 42 seconds.
So it's down from 50 to 42, but you can see here, you can hear it on the shift. Let's go on board. You can hear he's not at full throttle here either. This is normally a circuit where you've got, you can see a lot of lift and coast too. You can hear it off the throttle for a long time and not at full throttle at all. This is a circuit, as I was about to say, where you normally spend 75 to 80% of your lap at full throttle, and you could hear there going into Ascari, there's a lot of lift and coast. So very, very heavy in fuel conservation mode. Sam just coasting at the moment. Hope he doesn't have to stop. He had to fuel save to win his first race at Sebring 2 weeks ago. Completes lap 67. And just over 4 minutes to go. And that time around for Sam Smith, he ended up with a 42.3, so a little bit quicker. So even though he's fuel saving, his lap times are still a little bit up and down.
He might have got a bit spooked by Costa closing in.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him, because Cam Costa is wringing the neck of his car to try and get as close as he can, because in the event that Sam does need to fuel stop before this race is out, he wants to be as close as possible to capitalise. Sam's only going to need a splash and dash, going to need no tyres, but he will want to be as close as possible to capitalise on that pit lane, because the transit time through the pit lane is roughly about 20 seconds. The fuel stop's going to take about 30, and right now Costa is homing into range of that should a situation occur. And keep in mind, it is time plus 1 lap.
So 37 seconds last time they crossed the line.
And Sam will be wanting to cross the line at, Sam will be trying to cross the line at precisely the right time to get one more lap. Just under 3 minutes now. So we suspect Sam's going to have at least 3 more laps in him after this one is done. So this is lap 68. So by our count, lap 71 will be the final lap of this race. So we're just going to tick over.
So he's really been in a class of his own today, Sam, apart from that small period of time after the safety car where he was being harassed by Costa. He got... he didn't really have any competition apart from Nangle, who retired very, very early. He's drove an almost perfect race.
He certainly has. Well, just looking through the battles here, this is one of the other battles that's on track at the moment is Dwayne Davies and Matt Schwass. At the moment, Matt Schwass is just trying to pull away from Dwayne Davies here, but it's not very... the gap's only a second, so positions yet to be decided there. They're being rounded up by Stairs at the moment, so Stairs has pulled a gap here on Ozrob to the tune of 7 seconds now, so looks comfortable.
Happened to Tara, sorry.
Yeah, Tara, actually, where is Tara?
He's dropped to 4th in class.
He's dropped behind Brenton Foley, so we thought that battle was actually settled, and Tara's all the way back at Parabolica, and Foley's up at just exiting the first chicane, so unsighted to us. Foley's gotten past somewhere, and Tara's probably
I
made
think
a mistake to
Foley
boot.
is fuel saving quite a bit. I just checked his onboard, and he is not giving that car the full beans, and he's letting off very, very early.
Yeah, visually
So I
from
think
the broadcast cameras, it looks like it too. He's crawling.
he's not going to make it. If he's only got a lap or two left of fuel, he's not making it to the end. Definitely not ahead of Tara. He needs to just come in and do a quick splash and dash, because otherwise he's going to lose 4 positions most likely.
That's certainly right. Well, we haven't got long to go in this one. It looks like the positions are settled for the moment, but Foley's third place in GT is currently in question. Sam Smith's got about coming to the line now with about 42 seconds left on the clock, so this is lap 70, and then one more after this as he rounds up Matt Williams at the moment. Walsh has had a horrible day with penalties, and he gets another one right at the death. Taking you through the field, Sam Smith leads this race. Cam Costa currently in second, some 30-odd seconds, nearly 30 seconds behind. Stairs is currently third. A little yellow flag local on track there for the moment. Ozrob's probably going to settle for fourth here. He's dropped off the back of Stairs, and that's all there is in LMP2 at the moment. Phil Boak leads GT3 quite comfortably at the moment from Matt Williams, so it looks like that has been settled.
Foley's into the pits.
Foley's in the pits, so this is now up for dispute with how quickly can he get in and get out, because Tara is back here and actually rounding Parabolica, so Tara is going to go through and take third.
Devonish has just come out of Ascari.
So Tara will get through to the leads here. Foley, no tyres, fuel only, gets going, and Tara goes through, and I think that's going to be settled.
Stairs is coming into the pits.
And Stairs is in the pits, so couldn't
Like Devonish is too. Lots of people just couldn't quite make
can't
that
quite
one
make
extra
it.
lap.
So they haven't been able to make the stop. So that's interesting. So Sam Smith, the time has gone 0, so this is now about to commence the final lap. Sam Smith. White flag is in the air. The bell lap begins for Sam Smith. The final tour of this 5.793 kilometre circuit. And he's got his teammate behind him, who's just come out of the pits. And that means Ozrob has moved through into third place currently. Actually, where's Ozrob on the track? So he's actually up past the
Sam
second
has
chicane.
let Stairs through, which means that Ozrob is going to have to continue and do the lap after this one as well. So
He
Stairs,
certainly will.
if Ozrob is low on fuel as well, might get Ozrob if he runs out.
Just a reminder that Bagsy, you need to let the drivers know if you haven't done so already about the white flag.
Yep, that's all good and done. They are aware.
Thanking you. So Sam Smith has done the sensible thing here. Stairs just needs to push on and hope that Ozrob has not got enough fuel to see the flag. But take nothing away from the man who leads this race. Pretty much had it all his own way after about lap 2 or 3. Tara's retirement gave him comfortable advantage, and he had to work for it after the safety car. But he'll come down to the line, or come down to Parabolica first, negotiate the final corner of the final lap of this race, and make it 2 from 2 in this series. So a 100% not only finishing record, but a 100% winning record to begin your racing career in AMS Oz. Sam Smith, 2 from 2, takes the win in in LMP2. Great job. Cam Costa, also great job to secure second place, and I think his best finish of AMS Oz racing career for him. Takes second. So Ozrob is currently third. He's gone through Lesmo 1, about to go through Lesmo 2. Stairs currently coming down to the De La Roja chicane. So at the moment it's settled in favour of Ozrob as he negotiates the traffic. And we're waiting to see him come down to Ascari. Should be comfortable there. Yeah, I think he should be home from here. So Ozrub will come home for third. Stairs fourth. Boak has finished fifth. Oh no, has he? Has Boak finished fifth? It
Boat's finished.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so's Matt Williams. They're in the garage. I thought for a minute that they might have been retired there.
They've already passed the finish line because they were just behind Sam Smith. So Boat
Good.
first in class, Matt Williams second. Taro should round out the podium, barring anything
Well, Tara's,
absolutely horrific in the next 3 seconds.
well, Tara and Ozrob are going to come to the line pretty much together. So the two third places in class are going to finish at the line pretty much at the same time. There they are. So a third for Ozrob in LMP2, a third for Tara in GT. Foley, having not managed to get the fuel strategy right, and it's not the first time we've seen that, will come home for fourth. So still a good all the points for PBF Race Engineering in the Teams Championship, but could have been a few more. Dwayne Davies will come across the line in ninth, rounding at your top 10. Matt Schwass has already crossed the line. Devonish 11th, Cugley 12th, Harvey 13th, Walsh 14th, rounding out the 15 is Brennan Ross. But that is all for our 2-hour Monza extravaganza. So it has been a great race and a great spectacle, and we thought for a minute we were going to have a battle at the very, very end there, but unfortunately Costa coming into the pits right at the very end there put pay dirt to what could have set up to be a grandstand finish. But take nothing away from this man, he's made it 2 from 2. Sam Smith, well, but he talk us through it. You had once you got past Greg Nangle very, very early on in the piece, you weren't headed until the safety car, and then you had to work for it.
Yeah, Greg really had the pace, but obviously his brake got stuck on. I could see the light coming. I was sort of tempted to write something, but I thought, maybe I'll wait a little bit. And then a lap later, he was gone.
Yeah, he certainly went, and unfortunately for him, it's sometimes those things happen, but not very regularly. But the one thing I want to bring up is the pass in the grass. So we saw that up here, and we thought that's probably, and the guys will watch it back on the broadcast, and they'll think that that's probably one of the best passes we've ever seen. You had two wheels in the grass, you were rounding up the GT cars, and you got Costa to boot. How on earth did you keep it in a straight line?
I had a calm stares in my ear, so it was fine.
Brilliant.
Such good fun.
A calm stares, or would I say it's some noise?
No, very, very calm stares. Yes.
Very calm. Okay. Well, it certainly looked like one hell of a job, and you kept it in a straight line. So you find yourself at the top of the point standings, as from what Bagsy tells me. So good job, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time out at Spa. Second place man, second place man Cam Costa's in here as well. So, Cam, you didn't have the pace early on. You were slowly dropping away from Sam, and you got reinvigorated when the safety car came out, and you made him earn it. But second place is nothing to be frowned upon.
Yeah, I think that race was decided again really early. Just the way that Sam was able to pull away at the start and just just control the race sort of thing. Just determined the race after the pit stops. Now I just wish I had to put a full tank in at the pit stop. That would have probably made it a lot easier to finish, because by the way his car was squirreling all over the place, I think his tyres were pretty shot, so I might have been able to have him at the end.
So does that explain why you came into the pits for the very late for a late fuel stop?
Yeah, I did a little splash under the safety car, thinking that we're going to go full distance, and it didn't click in my brain that we're going to have less laps and less time. So yeah, my hand was sort of forced then. So cool. Yeah, it's
job well done.
Credit to Sam. He's quick, and he's just controls the race, which is what you do. So
beautiful. Nope, job well done for second place. Rob's also in here for third. So Rob, you got position from Stairs late there by virtue of the fact that Stairs had to come in for a quick splash and dash, and you had a good little battle there for a little while.
Yeah, it was. I guess you're wondering why I came in the pits twice, were you?
We were scratching our heads a little bit. Please fill us in.
I went the wrong way in setup direction. I couldn't drive the bloody thing, so I had to come back in the pits and change my aero back to where it was.
All right.
Thought I'd be smart, but I wasn't really that smart. But,
No.
but at the end of the race, I literally crawled across the line with a cough. So I was lucky that it was the last lap.
Very fortunate then. Well, nothing to be frowned upon. You've had you had a rough start to LMP2 when you filled in for Johnny at Daytona, but you've certainly picked your game up since then. So good to see you've got a turn of speed, and good to see you on the podium as well.
No, I really appreciate it. You guys are doing a fantastic job, so yeah, I'm glad I've joined. So
appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, GT runners are in here. Bagsy, you want to speak to the GT runners while they're here?
Yeah. Where's race winner?
So Phil Boak's in here.
There he is. Phil, how'd you go? You had to look like you were right in the pack for the first part, but you sort of controlled the race for essentially the last 40 minutes. How was that?
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a surprise. I didn't qualify well, so I was back a bit, but me and Scruff got through, and it was a good little tussle. And then after the first pit stop, I grabbed the lead, and me and Foley sort of backwards and forwards because we're trying to work out who was faster without holding each other up. And yeah, I took the lead from there and just sort of sat out the front and did my best to control it, I guess. Scruff didn't take tyres in his stop, so he got a lead, and we had to work away at that. But yeah, that was a good race. Bit of surprise, really. I'm shocked.
It was a very good win. We've got Scruff here as well. Scruff, you took a gamble and going for no tyres on that second stop, and you worked pretty well, but didn't quite stick in the end.
The safety car being brought in absolutely destroyed my race, as it should not have been, as we'd just been allowed to enter the pits because we weren't on the lead lap. So I got stacked, couldn't take tyres at the end, and that was just race over.
That's unfortunate. How were you feeling with the car and that before that?
The car was great the whole race. I should have won it.
Oh, that's a big statement, isn't it, Bagsy?
Yeah, clearly, Matt's not happy there. We'll go on to third place. That was Tara, I believe.
Yep, Greg Tara's in here.
Greg Tara's there. Yeah, there he is. Tara, how'd you go? You had battles with both of the PBF Racing guys, and almost made it through a couple times, but just weren't able to quite catch them in the end.
Yeah, it was a fun race actually. With Foley especially, it seemed like it was all race. And I didn't, long race, so you don't want to just go stuffing it up the inside too often. Just didn't have any real pace or consistency early on. Fiddling with the anti-roll bars as the fuel burnt off. Sometimes I was upsetting the balance. Made it hard to be a little bit consistent, but it was just one of those races where I went in with absolutely fuel strategy. It was like, full tanks for as long as possible. And I was not meant to take tyres in my middle stop. I did by accident. It wouldn't have made any difference in the end as it turned out, but yeah, I just kept it practical.
Well, there you go. Your 3 podium finishes for both classes, LMP2, GT3. Some very happy winners, and a few people that feel that they could have done a little bit better, but unfortunately that's what the safety car does sometimes. It throws up a few unpredictable results. Speaking of throwing up a few other things, here's what we look ahead to in the next week. So TCC Touring Car Cup Round 7 comes to you from Campo Grande in Brazil. That's tomorrow. Supercars Round 11, that comes to you from Barber Motorsport Park. Why do you ask we're going to the US? Because we haven't got a version of the Bend. So this is substituting for the Bend Motorsport Park. That's on Thursday the 30th of August. And our first race in September. Geez, it's hard to think that we're getting close to Christmas already. It's the Argentine Grand Prix, so round 3 of the Formula 1 97 series from Argentina on Sunday the 2nd of September. Well, that's all she wrote for the 2 hours of Monza. Our next stop in the WEC Series will be Spa for 90 minutes in 2 weeks' time. This has been a presentation brought to you by your Apex Rear Wing commentary team in conjunction with Short Shift Podcast on behalf of Automobilista Australia. We will see you again real soon. Until then, as always, please drive safely. Bye-bye for now.